Start this Zoom as well. Shalom Israel. Let me make sure it's live. Okay, this installing updates. Shalom Israel. Welcome back to Sword of Truth, and good to see everybody back in action. I know we took a little break for the High Holy Days, but it feels good to be back and once again working with the body, both in the scriptures, but also just working with each other. You know, just we fellowship, we ate together, we had a wonderful Hanukkah, and so it's good to be back to work. And for us, you know, it's a New Year's to the nations coming up, but not a new year for us, you know, because our year begins. Anybody remember we have 2 years? We have a sacred year, ceremonial year. Sacred year is when? Just a little quiz right quick. Nope. It's around March, April. And the civil
year is Passover.
Yeah.
This marks the beginning of it.
Exactly. And then the civil year is
Day of Atonement marks the beginning of it.
seventh month, 14th day.
14th day.
Kind. Wonderful. All right, so like I said,
10th day, right?
10th day, yeah, starts Day of Atonement.
Yeah,
And then
Passover.
Yeah.
Month 14th.
Exactly.
7 months, 10th day, right?
Yes, sir. So it's good to be back in action. Yes, sir.
I knew you was in April though, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
March, April. It doesn't fall on the same day every time, you know, but because the month is not exact. You know, sometimes a month is 28.2 days, 28 days. So a month is based on a lunar calendar. It's not always exactly the same, but it falls between March and April, month of Nisan. All right. So it's good to be back, like I said, and welcome back. Shout out and shalom to everybody, all our brothers and sisters out there that have been watching our class. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Our message is to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, our people, and shout out to our sisters and brothers that teach this truth, you know, nationwide, worldwide. We got fellow schools in New York, Rochester, and Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, and Houston. Also, shout out to everybody in California, Albuquerque, New Mexico, also in Florida. Shout out to Kawakab, one of our founding members of Sword of Truth in Guatemala, and also Amiatza in London. Alrighty, and so the topic of today's class is the Bible is home economics. Write that down. The Bible is home economics. And I know we're getting started a little late, so we'll jump right into it. For those who has taken a home economics class in school, anybody? By a show of hands, anybody? What do you remember from home economics?
I was just split up into 4 sections. So basically, the first 9 months, second 9 months, third 9 month, like the report card periods.
All right.
In my time, I don't know if it's different now, but
What did you do?
each 9 months, it was weeks, not months. My bad. Each 9-week period was we focused on something different. I remember one of them was sewing.
Yes.
I didn't think it made sense for men because most men don't get into sewing.
You know, it's funny you say that most men don't do it, but when you look at who was the 2 pioneers that went up the Mississippi River, that kind of founded St. Louis? Who were those 2 pioneers? They were instrumental in finding the West. Lewis and Clark, right? It's funny you say that because one thing that Lewis and Clark brought with them when they explored the West, and you know, they brought over 200 needles and 200 pieces of thread. That was part of their inventory that they brought to America because they knew that if you don't have sewing, you don't have needle and thread, and you don't know how to sew, you might not survive. You know what I'm saying? Because that means you have to repair tents. You have to repair sails. If your sails tear, if they rip, you have to repair your trousers. You might have to sew some moccasins.
Yeah.
You know, what people don't understand, sewing is instrumental, but we may not see it as a male-dominated thing. But it was necessary for Lewis and Clark to bring over 200 and something sewing needles with them because they understood the importance of sewing. Or if you got to get stitched up, you fall off a cliff, or you fall through some trees and you get pretty lacerated. What are you going to do? You stitch it up by what? There's no doctors in the bush. You stitch it up by hand. needle fishing line or needle and thread. Sometimes you just have to get a shot of whiskey or something and get sewed up. But these are life skills that they were teaching in home economics. I'm just bringing this up to show that it was important, not just because they taught you how to sew a pillowcase and show you how to make a shirt. Or actually in my home economics, it was a T-shirt, a pillowcase, and something else, some trousers. Anybody else had home ec? What'd you do?
They taught us child rearing. We had an exercise. We had to take a bag of flour, put it in a diaper. It had like a little.
Speak up a little bit too.
The bag of flour had a speaker in it, so it would cry on cue at certain intervals, and it could tell. It had some kind of monitor in it. It could tell how much you shook it, if you neglected it, stuff like that. So child rearing and cooking.
Okay, what'd you do, sis?
I did the same. They taught us how to sew, how to cook, and also how to balance checkbooks.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's great too, because
Big stuff.
they were teaching you life skills in school. They don't do enough of it because by the time people get out of school, they're ill-equipped in modern day times. But they taught us how to do taxes too. They taught us how to file taxes. So you could file. By the time we finished our course, we learned how to file our own taxes in home economics. Yes, sir. Thawam, you had your hand?
I got a little definition for it. It says, by definition, home economics is the art and science of home management. And like you said, it says consists of learning how to cook, how to do taxes, and how to perform child care tasks.
Right. These things that people they embark on home building, and they have no idea on how to make a home work and how to manage a home. And so this is this society's estimation or way of dealing with home situations, household situations. And when you read the Bible is all about home economics. It's all about home management. It's all about functioning in a home environment. It's all throughout the Bible. But it's not just a school thing. For me, I didn't take home ec too serious, because it looked like it was a play elective. It wasn't really serious. But if you took it serious, you actually learned something.
That's what
You learn how to, like the sister said, how to balance a checkbook. I myself learned how to do taxes, and you learn how to sew something. And if you went to school with holes in your clothes, you understood how important it was to learn how to sew. If you didn't have the luxury of knowing how to sew your clothes, I know my mother and my father wore the same clothing because my mother made his clothes in high school. They met in high school, and she sewed his clothes, and she made her outfits match his outfits. So they were always the best dressed every year, because that was a home skill that she had, But those are skills that we shouldn't. Cooking is a home skill because you got to feed yourself. You got to know how to feed yourself. When things break down and you don't have, fast food to go to, you got to know how to get in the kitchen and cook. You got to learn how to cook. You have to learn how to, decipher. What can cook at certain temperatures, how to bake, how to fry, how to cook an egg. A lot of people take that for granted. They don't know how to boil rice. They don't know how to boil an egg. They don't know what temperature to cook it at. It may sound weird. It may sound, abstract, but it's the truth. People don't know how to feed themselves. So this is this culture's way of dealing with society. But the Bible, when you look at the Bible, the Most High He delivers us with all types of instruction. There's all types of instructions on how to deal with a household, on how to manage a household, and how to manage life skills. Something that a lot of us are missing. All right, but we're going here because it's very important to know how to manage households. Why is this important? Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. Let's read this real quick. First scripture.
Go. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Matthew chapter 12, Matthew chapter 12, verse 25 reads, And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
So why is house management so important? Read it one more time.
Come. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25 reads, And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself.
So it doesn't matter if it's on a large scale, like a whole nation of people, where you're dealing with millions of a population. Doesn't matter how large the quantity is. If they don't know how to function together, they're brought to what?
It's divided against itself.
Go ahead.
Is brought to desolation.
It's brought to desolation. What else? Read on.
And every city.
So going from a kingdom where you're dealing with millions down to a city where you're dealing with maybe millions or maybe thousands or maybe hundreds. The numbers are smaller, but if a city can't function together, what happens?
And every city or house.
Or something small as a what?
House.
So what we're reading is something that affects every scale, whether it's a city, a multitude, or down to just a household. If the house is divided, if the city is divided, if the kingdom is divided, what happens?
Against itself shall not stand.
It shall not what?
Stand.
So it shall be broken apart. So you have to understand what's critical in home management. If you don't know how to manage a home, it's brought to what?
Desolation.
If you don't know how to function in a household, if you don't know how to communicate in a household, if you don't know how to work together in a household, that household is doomed. That city is doomed. That kingdom is doomed. All right?
That pulls right here. Desolation. 8:28. It says deserted of God, deprived of comfort.
Yep.
So when the house is divided and the house is dealing with the spirit of division, the Most High says, I'm not going to be here.
He's not in there.
Scripture says, it says deserted of God. That's what the word desolation means. To be deserted of God. Then it says laid waste in a ruinous condition, neglected and destroyed.
So it's ruined. It's destroyed. It's neglected. Now, jump over to Hebrews chapter 3 verse 4 real quick. Give me Hebrews chapter 3 verse 4. So we understand right off the bat that if you don't know how to manage a household, it's not going to work. That household is ruined. It's destroyed. Now we know that society tried to teach us home management, home economic skills. I remember they taught us how to fill out a resume and how to apply for jobs. And they even graded us based upon how many interviews that we had. But read on.
Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 4. For every house is builded by some man.
But you know what's going to happen? Some man is going to eventually do what?
Build the house.
Some man or some woman is going to make an attempt to do what?
Build the house.
Yeah, every man is going to, at some point in time, make an attempt and make a stab at or make a run at doing what?
Building a house.
But if you don't know how to build a house, what's going to happen to it?
But he that built all things is the Most High.
If you don't use who?
The Most High.
In building the house, then the house will be brought to desolation. When you build anything, especially when you're dealing with a household, you have to include who in the house.
The Most High.
You better include the master builder. The one who builds kingdoms, countries, cities, populations, peoples, nations, lands. You have to include the master builder when you're building anything. Everybody's going to try to build a house, but not everybody's going to include who in the house.
The Most High.
Everybody's house don't have the Most High in it. And when you don't have the Most High in the house, then you have opinions in the house. Then you have a lack of organization in the house. You have confusion in the house. When you don't put if you don't resort to the one who's known for masterfully building houses, you're in trouble. It has to be built on something substantial, something righteous. The blueprints have to be laid accordingly. Let that go and go to Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Let me punch this in real quick. Go ahead. Whoever got it.
Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost?
But when you build anything, you're supposed to sit down and do what?
Counteth the cost.
You're supposed to count the costs. I mean, okay, if I'm going to build this house, how much does it cost? You just can't go shopping if you don't have what?
Materials.
You don't got materials, and you don't got the what?
Budget.
You don't have the resources. You don't have the finances. So even if you see a sign or a house for sale, and you call the house for sale, and the realtor will say, "Hey, are you working with anybody?" No, I'm just calling. I like this house. Okay. Have you sought out financing? How will you be paying for this house? Before this realtor even shows up and do a viewing or a showing, or to pull up and waste his time and gas, he's going to ask what question?
Are you got approved?
Have you been approved?
You got the funds secured?
Otherwise, you're doing what?
Wasting time.
You're wasting his time. You're dreaming because you want a house, but you have not solidified the funds, and you haven't secured the necessary means to acquire the house. You haven't done the research. Do you know how much the house costs? Is your credit score valid enough to obtain this house? Have you done a background check, a credit check? Did you get financed? Are you working with a credit union? Are you dealing with a bank? Are you using cash? How is it an FHA loan? Is it a VA loan?
You know how much home you can afford.
Yeah. Are you buying too much house? Or is your eyes bigger than your stomach? So even when you sit down to do something, to build something, you got to secure the means. Do I have the means necessary to make this move? You're supposed to sit down and decide, do I have the means to move forward? If you don't, you're wasting time. Read on in that.
Got it. Whether he has sufficient to finish it.
Right. Whether you got sufficient to finish the process. They don't just turn over. You don't just say, I want that house, and the next day you got the house. Even if you got cash, sometimes the bank will make you prove that the cash is legitimate. Yeah. That this is not for money laundering. Even if you did have the cash, you're not just buying that house because you say so. They're going to say, okay, well, let's find out where the means, where these finances come from. Where'd you get there? Is this money laundering, or how are you paying for this? We gotta view the bank account to see if this is what you got. So, or you may be dreaming that you want a 4-bedroom, but you only got enough to get a 1-bedroom. You don't got enough. Read on.
God, verse 29. Lest happily, after he hath laid the foundation.
Unless it says less happily, you started the process, or you got concrete money, you laid the foundation, and what?
And is not able to finish it.
And you can't finish it. You started something that you can't finish. And he says, less happily will you be. And this tends to be the result of what happens when I go initiate building something, but I haven't done the research on what it takes to acquire what I'm building. Then the circumstances will leave me unhappy. I'm not happy about this process because I haven't done enough research to quantify, do I have enough to make this this daydream come true, or this plan come into fruition. He said, less happily you shall be. Read on.
God, less happily, after he had laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold him begin to mock him.
Then you're going to be what?
Mock.
You'll be laughed. You'll be mocked. You'll be clowned, laughed at. You'll be made fun of. Why would you go into embarking on a house building project or house building situation and you knew you didn't have enough to finish it? You don't have what it takes to initiate this process. Neither did you do your homework. Neither did you find out whether you're qualified to even do this. But a lot of people do this in home shopping, but also in relationship and friendship building. You jump into a relationship and a friendship and don't even know the skills necessary to make one work. You don't even have the skills to build a friendship or relationship or to make a house. But how many people start this process and they end up less happily? I started trying to get into get out of my parents' house, or I wanted to build my own house and start my own family. But do you have skills? Did you acquire knowledge behind this family? Did you acquire knowledge behind these friendships? This is where something very critical comes into play. Go to Proverbs 15 and 22 real quick.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 22.
Read that.
Right. I got it. Proverbs 15:22. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed.
Because you went into a situation without what?
Counsel.
Counsel. What should be the one thing you do before you embark on anything?
Counsel.
You should be counseling. So so that my endeavors are not the butt of somebody's jokes. People that get counsel are less likely to have their purposes disappointed, because that's part of sitting down first and counting the cost. Am I following counsel to make this this desire of mine appear in front of my eyes? Did I follow counsel? Did I go pursue counsel? Or am I just following my dreams? Or am I seeing something and want it just based upon my lust, but I'm not looking for instruction to go about to obtain it? He says, without counsel, read on.
Purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established.
It says, but in the multitude of counselors, they're what?
They are established.
So if I want to establish this vision of me building a house, me building families and friendships and bonds and relationships, what ingredient should I be using?
Counsel.
I should be using counsel. Now do me a favor, read this for me real quick.
Come. So the U.S. has the world's highest rate of children living in a single-parent households.
Who does?
The U.S. has the world's highest rate of children living in single-parent households.
So somebody started building a household, right? Somebody started on building the home process, house building process, family building process. But what happened?
It didn't work out.
I thought they had home economics.
They left something out.
I thought they knew how to cook,
Yeah.
and they learned how to sew, and they learned how to do taxes and get a job. What happened? I thought they carried a bag of sugar around or the bag of flour, and if it leaked, you failed a class. If you puncture the hole, that's like a baby. So you puncture the hole on the bag of sugar, you failed a class.
Yeah.
Then you see a bunch of duct tape babies.
Yeah.
I thought they had home economics. What happened? Why is the U.S. the worst? I thought we had the education behind it, right? Read on.
As for decades, the share of U.S. children living with a single parent has been rising. Accompanied by
Is it getting better?
It's been rising. It's getting worse. Accompanied by a decline in marriage rates.
It's a decline of what?
In marriage rates.
What's happening?
They ain't getting married. They ain't committing.
What's going on? Where's the problem coming in at? It's every man will build a house. But what must they include when they build a house?
Most High.
The Most High. And what happens is when you ignore and you leave out the Most High in your home building projects, you're leaving out an instrumental piece of success. Everybody that builds a house without the Most High, you know what they're going to find? It's going to be a bunch of emotion. And there's going to be a bunch of friction. And there's going to be a bunch of division. There's going to be a bunch of opinions and struggle and struggle for power. And there's going to be a lot of things out of order. Read on.
It says, accompanied by a decline in marriage rates and a rise in birth rates outside of marriage. A new Pew Research Center study of 130 countries and territories show the U.S. has the world's highest rate of children living in single-parent households.
It said out of 132 countries, who got the worst?
The U.S.
So if you build in a house, in a household, in a family in the U.S., what are those rates of success?
The worst in the world?
The worst in the world. You got the worst in the world. Because in the U.S., they teach you sewing, cooking, and taxes, but they don't teach you what?
Most High.
They don't teach you the real ingredients that it takes to build a house. They don't tell you what it takes to build bonds and make them last. But you know finances, you know job, you know taxes, you know resumes. And you know what? With all that success, with all the resume building, with all the job qualifications, with all the degrees, You still at home where? Alone. Because this ain't the place to learn that in America. It's not the place to learn how to build a house in America. It's not the place for that. You got to go to the Bible to learn how to build something to last. You can put all your eggs in an American basket and they're going to fail you. You can do it the American way or you can do it the biblical way. And if you don't incorporate the Bible in your plans and how you build a house, you are in trouble. Just like all these people on these statistics are in trouble. Anything else in that?
Come. Almost a quarter of U.S. children under the age of 18 live with one parent and no other adults. That's 23%.
That's almost 25%.
That's a fourth.
That's almost 25% of every American child is living with who?
One parent.
One parent.
No other adult.
So, would you say that America has mastered home building? No, not at all. So, would you get your advice from a system that's failed? Where should your counseling come from? Where should your instruction come from? So you can do it your way, but you know what you're going to find out? A quarter of the time, 25% of the time, the odds are already against you. Finish that?
It says more than 3 times the share of children around the world who do so, which is 7%. It says the study which analyzed how people's living arrangements differ by religion also found that U.S. children from Christian and religious...
Does it matter if they're Christian or not? It says Christian or what else?
Christian and religiously unaffiliated families are about equally likely.
So whether you believe in God in America, or you call yourself a Christian, or you don't subscribe to any religion, you're still what?
Equally likely to live in this type of arrangement.
So they still live with. So this is not just, well, I'm a Christian. That don't mean nothing. You could have the title of a Christian. That don't mean you have a higher rate of success. You could be a Christian, but you don't follow the Bible. See, Christians think, I believe in God. I go to work. I pay my bills. But they don't use the Bible to create a household. They just listen. They don't practice what they preach. You gotta go and dig in the Bible and find out, okay, how does the Most High want me to build a house? How does the Most High want me to function and where I can build a union that's going to last? Go to Proverbs chapter 11, verse 28. Because you can secure the finances. You can get the money. You can get the banking behind you. You can have a stellar credit score. You can have them 750, 850. You can have whatever you want. That doesn't guarantee that your house building will work. And that two people will be in harmony within that situation. Read that.
Come. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 28 reads, he that trusteth in his riches.
So a lot of people go to work in America. Doesn't mean Americans are lazy. They go to work. They build credit. They go to work every day. They pay their bills on time. But their households are still failing. Read.
He that trusteth in his riches.
Because where's their trust at?
Riches.
Their trust is in their job. I think because if I get a better job, my circumstance, I become a high value man. I become a high value woman. So if I got this job, then my job will secure me and make sure that I'm okay and I'll be able to build a better household. There's a lot of households that are beautiful but empty.
We move them every day.
We move them all the time. They're beautiful.
Heaviest furniture in the world.
But got the nicest decor, but they're empty.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in it. And there's no unity in it. There's no companionship in it. My households are empty. Read.
He that trusteth in his riches shall fall.
So does a job guarantee a house?
La.
Does a paycheck guarantee a house?
La.
Does you pay your taxes guarantee a house?
La.
Does you securing an education guarantee a house?
La.
A happy one at that.
La.
Read on.
But the righteous shall flourish.
It said, but who shall flourish?
The righteous.
The word righteous means they do the things that are right according to the Most High. That's what righteousness is. It's things that are right according to the Most High, not according to you. Everybody got an opinion. That don't mean their opinion is righteous.
That's just self-righteousness.
That's self-righteousness. But that's not righteousness. Righteousness is things that are right according to the Most High. That's what righteousness is. You got to have your opinion. That doesn't mean you are righteous. And that doesn't mean that your circumstance will be also righteous. And your circumstance may not flourish just because you think your opinion is righteous. Doesn't guarantee that you'll flourish. In America especially, you're not going to flourish. Read on.
But the righteous shall flourish as a branch.
Yeah, but you know, if you do things according to what the Most High considers righteousness, the Most High will put the Spirit in the house to make the house flourish. But read on.
Come.
Hold on. You want to bring something in?
Yeah, that verse, but after you finish.
Okay, go ahead. Finish that.
He that troubleth.
He said, but he that does what?
Troubleth.
How do I trouble it what? Read on.
His own house.
How do I trouble my own house? Go ahead.
Shall inherit the wind.
There will be no house. There will be no homemaking. There will be no home management. How do I trouble my own house? By what?
Not included.
By my opinion.
Yep.
By my opinion is what troubles my house. My opinion is what destroys what could be. What should have been, and what's possible. Now I don't have a house. You know what? Or I got a single house. I got a single parent house, which is 25% of America. Now I join that statistic, and that number is rising.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Just on that point, Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 6 and verse 2, then verse 1. Because I like the aspect of the shakor, or the money, boosting up one's opinion of oneself. Because a lot of times we have societal ways of identifying if you're ready to be a husband, if you're ready to be a wife, if you're ready to be a good friend. Those societal standards don't match the Bible. The societal standards is you look a certain way, you have a certain height, you have a certain physical build, you have a certain status in life, and that quantifies you as being available to lead somebody else or to build a household. But the Most High is saying that pride is what's going to bring that bad name or that bad foundation. Even that in verse 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 2. Install not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart.
Because what you went in earlier was explaining that we need to have counsel for every action. But the problem is, what we have that we find comfort in, what we have that we find pride in, that gives us our own counsel. That directs our own path in life. I got enough money to make this move, so I think I'm ready to do this right now. I'm not mature, I'm not responsible, and my temperament's horrible, but I can be a leader right now.
But I'm ready to get out on my own.
I'm ready to get out on my own. I'm ready to lead the household and build a name for myself. The problem is that is not going to be a stable foundation when you're trying to build a household. Jump to verse 1.
Come. Ecclesiastes 6 and verse 1. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
Read that again.
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
What does that mean? Instead of trying to establish a relationship as a friend, as a husband, as a wife, don't become an enemy through your inability to change, through your inability to grow or be spiritually responsible. Because if you go into this relationship without having the correct tools, you're going to become an enemy. Instead of my priority being, I want to get this relationship right now, don't be the reason why someone walks away from the truth. Why someone doesn't want to sit here and grow in the truth. Why your children don't want to grow in the truth. Why your partner leaves. Read on.
For thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name.
Because your name will be tarnished. Because you're the reason why I came in here. You're the reason why I don't want to grow anymore. Because your foundation wasn't as strong as what you told me it was. You sold me a dream, a spirituality dream. But you didn't live up to it. So now I don't believe in anything anymore. It's going to keep proving it. Read on.
Shame and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue.
Because the double tongue is, I gave you a false reality of security and comfort. You told me we're going to grow and be prosperous, but all you had to back that was your money, was your house, but there was nothing else. And that's why the foundation fell apart. I thought there was going to be stability here. I thought there was going to be comfort here. But there was no growth. There was no stability. Because you had no spiritual foundation to keep me upright. And this is why American society is continuously crippling. Because you got all the exterior, all the financial means, but there's no spiritual means to support and ground this relationship. So that's why there's the shame, the reproach, and the ill name. Ill name comes from the fact that your children don't respect you. The shame, reproach is your spouse don't respect you.
You're a horrible father.
You're a horrible father,
You're a horrible mother.
But you kept you kept the lights on. You get food on the table. But that wasn't enough to sustain these type of relationships. These particular spirits. You need spiritual food rather than physical food. But society, home economics don't teach you that. They pass over that.
They pass over these things are, there are certain things that are intangible that you cannot separate when you're home building. There are certain things that you must include, which we're going to go over today, that are necessary when you're building anything. Especially when you're putting two people together in the same place, cohabitating an environment. There are certain things that you just can't take away in order for this to function. That's why Christ said it could be a kingdom, it could be a city, or it could be a house. If it's divided against itself, it shall not stand.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. So there's certain ingredients that you must have in order to make a house work. You must have it. Otherwise, you're going to inherit the wind. There will be no house. You will have no house. Today, I got a call from a 80-year-old man who's getting a divorce. How you getting a divorce at 80? You're in your glory, your golden years. You're supposed to be doing nothing, traveling. Watching the grandkids. You're supposed to be looking at all that your labor has brought to you. At 80 years old, a divorce at 80? You gonna start over at 80? Where's the pool? Where's the dating pool online? For 80. It's the nursing home. Where else you go?
Or the VFW.
Or the VFW. You can't. You going back in the club? You 80. You going back and you hitting the dance floor again? You going back? You going your rod, throwing your rod back in the fish, and you going fishing again back in the sea, trying to catch something. At 80, you 80 with heels on. You about to break something. But I'm not mocking it. But I'm like, that ain't how it's supposed to be.
How did you get to that point?
That's not how it's supposed to be, man. It's not the way you want it to be. You don't want to go this long, that far with somebody just to separate at the closing end of your life. When you thought you had somebody to secure you, bathe you, remind you of your medication,
Yep.
keep you on your doctor's appointments, keep you on your schedule, laugh with, joke with, rehash memories back,
Relate to.
recollect memories, and walk down memory lane with. You're supposed to have that person by that time. Comfort you if you ill. But you 80 and you trying to start over, it's painful. That's got to be painful. That has to hurt. So there's something missing, and we think sometimes that I secured the money, I got the bag. First you get the money, then you get the power. It ain't about the bag, man. It's not about the money. It's not about none of these. They don't create houses. They don't make houses. Give me Psalms chapter 127, verse 1. Psalms chapter 127, verse 1. 1 and 2.
Psalms 127, verse 1. Right?
Yep.
Except the Most High build the house.
It said who?
Except the Most High build the house.
Except the Most High do what?
Build the house.
If you cannot build no house unless you got who involved.
Most High.
It's not going to work. You can do things your way and how you want it based on your wisdom. But if you do not include the Most High in your home building, home management, home economic process, your household is good is in vain. It'll come to nothing. And if you trouble your house by not having the Most High in your house, then it says you will inherit the wind. That means I will be homeless. Because I don't know how to manage a house. I don't know how to coexist. I don't know how to cohabitate. I'm missing the main ingredients necessary to put in a house for home management. I don't know how to make a house work. First, you got to do it whose way? Your way or the Bible's way? You got to find out. There's so much wisdom in the scriptures to tell you how to manage home. Obviously, the American way don't work. You have to trust a greater wisdom. You must incorporate greater knowledge and understanding. And if you didn't had multiple houses that didn't work, then you really need to be open for some advice. You really need to be open for, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. These previous houses that I built, they melted. They melted into nothing. They went into oblivion. I built houses, relationships, and where are they now? 30 for 30, right?
Yeah.
ESPN, where are they now? Now they're exes. Now there's child support. Now there's, I can't stand this person. Now I don't want to see this person ever again in my life. How did it get to that point? Who wasn't in the house? The Most High wasn't in the house. If you don't know how to use the most critical ingredient for house building, you're in trouble. The Most High got to be in the house. Read it again.
Psalms 127, verse 1. Except the Most High build the house, they labor in vain that build it.
Oh, it said they do what?
They
Labor in vain
that build it.
All my work is going to be for what? What about all the money I put into it? What about all the investment?
Right.
I put years into this. I put blood, sweat, and tears into this. I had to work 2 jobs to get this. I ate ramen noodles and hamburger meat for a year to make sure I got this to go through. I suffered and sacrificed. I lost a lot to build this house. And what happened to it? You think your parents didn't suffer to get you to try to give you some type of stable environment to live in? A lot of us don't even have to go to building our own house to watch destruction. You can look at where you came from. And you can look at the multitude of new partners that go by the name of stepdaddy or stepmama to identify that, hey, somebody wasn't doing this the right way. Something was missing in this relationship. Although they tried. You don't think your parents didn't try? Hell yeah, they tried. You don't think they sacrificed and worked and went without so that you could have? Of course they did. Of course they suffered. But you know what? You know what a lot of times they didn't acknowledge? What was necessary in order for that house to work, to grow, to flourish? I got to put the Most High in that house. You have no choice. That's an intangible. Without the Most High, it doesn't work. Doing it your way will fail. You got to learn all over again. Yes, sir.
It doesn't even come to mind either. You just fill the house with music, right? Entertainment.
Food. You eat, don't you?
It doesn't even come to mind.
You got a roof over your head, right? You got clothes on your back, right? Be thankful. That's all they tell you. But what spirit is in the house?
I'll pull this right here.
Yes, sir.
Real fast, go to Psalms chapter 1, verse 4 and verse 6. Psalms chapter 1, verse 4 and verse 6.
Psalms chapter 1, verse 4.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you read, I'm not going to break the whole chapter down, but if you look at the scripture above talking about how righteous people and people that are connected to the scriptures are going to prosper, right? Read verse 4 now. This is the contrast to that prosperity. Read.
Psalms chapter 1, verse 4. The ungodly are not so.
Key point, ungodly or not like. Un means not like, right? It's not. Those that are not godly or not like the Most High or not with the scriptures or not doers of the word, right? I can hear the word. If I'm not applying the word, read.
But are like the shaft which the wind driveth away.
And we just went in the concept of what? He that troubleth his own house, because there's no unity, and the scriptures are not being applied, are like the chaff which the wind drives away. The chaff is just it's something that's not useful. It's useless. It's worthless. It's the worthless part of the wheat. All right. Let's get to verse 6.
Verse 6. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous.
The way means path or method. Read on.
But the way of the ungodly shall perish.
The point is, if I'm not doing like the Most High, if I'm not applying the wisdom of the scriptures, if I'm not following the book, if I'm not conforming myself, if I'm not updating my conscience, my mind, and my relationships with the book, then my way will do what? Perish. Key point what perish means. The word perish means to wither or decay, to be rendered useless. So everything around me in my house is going to continue to decay. Church, once bring out, you're going to have a house. But before you don't have a house, the house has to be in a state of decay first. So the question is, what is the condition of my household? What is the condition of my marriage? What is the condition of my friendships? What is the condition of it? Is the condition in a state of decay? If it's in a state of decay, that means it's not like God. Because God's not decaying. There's something about me or my interactions that's not like the Bible. Even though I know I say the Bible.
There's a contrast that I should take notice of. Back to Psalm 127. Yes, sir.
That decay is like sitting on the side of the freeway. You got off work, but you're sitting on the side of the freeway because you don't want to go home.
Or that decay is, let me out this car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop the car so I can get out.
Yeah.
Or that decay is, get your stuff because the police on their way. Yes, sir.
This reminds me of like the moves that we do for the eviction moves that we do when we go inside the homes and stuff like that, and then we see the house
Turns up, yeah.
Yeah.
Kids inhabiting and the families inhabiting that that particular area that was once theirs and now it's taken from them.
Something went wrong. Something happened. Something went wrong there. Read on.
Psalms 127, verse 1. Except the Most High build the house, they labor in vain that build it.
It said they labor in vain that build it. Something went wrong. Read on.
Except the Most High keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain.
It said the watchman waketh, but in vain. It's doomed. Because the watchman could get up every hour. It won't matter. It's still going to be overthrown. You can bust your butt and go to work every day just to keep up the bills, but that house is falling apart. You can patch it up. You can put Band-Aids, glue, tape it up, and it's falling apart. Read on.
It is vain for you to rise up early.
It said, you know what? But I woke up early, 4 o'clock every morning to make sure I pay these bills. Hey, but it all came, all that effort into managing this house is in what? It's in vain. What else?
It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late.
Or to sit up late. Man, I came home, I didn't even eat. I came home late. I pulled a graveyard shift. I worked overnight to make sure I managed this house. I did the overnight shift. I did the 11 to 7 shift, 11 at night to 7 in the morning. I ate breakfast for dinner and dinner for breakfast. I drank beer in the morning. My whole schedule was thrown off. You would do a lot of these things. You do a lot of these things when you to sacrifice to build something. People make all kind of sacrifices to build something.
Yeah.
They make all kind of sacrifices. Read on.
It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrow.
Man, there's days I didn't even eat to make sure that you have a house and you have a roof. This is why people be so mad when the house is falling apart. How dare you treat me the way you treat me? Because do you know what type of sacrifice that I put in so that this house could be built? How dare you? How dare you talk to me the way you talking to me? You know, it's a lot of anger involved in that. How many years I put into this so you can have a place to stay?
Yeah.
To eat the bread of sorrows? Read on.
For so he giveth his beloved sleep.
But you know what? What never is allowed in that house? What's not in that house?
Peace.
Peace. Ain't no peace in that house, man. Ain't no peace. There's a lot of sacrifice in that house. It's a lot of hard work in that house. It's a lot of getting up early in the morning. It's a lot of coming home late. It's a lot of eating the bread of sorrow, taking losses, robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's a lot of syrup sandwiches. It's a lot of cereal for dinner. It's a lot of lunch meat getting spread around. But you know what ain't in that house?
This lunch meat's real.
Ain't no peace, man. You know what ain't no house? Ain't no joy. Ain't no happiness in that house. Ain't no quietness in that house. Ain't no rest in that house. You know why ain't no rest in that house? What's missing? Most High. All your sacrifices in home economics and home management is in vain. Because you miss a key ingredient that America misses. They don't do it the Most High's way. You do it your way. But the Most High said he give us his beloved sleep. That means I can have this big old house and not be at ease. I can have the most aesthetically pleasing environment where it caters to my liking. But I'm not happy. It's not a happy home.
I have the juicer. I have the screen.
I got the KitchenAid mixer. I got the Keurig
the
coffee
Keurig.
maker that makes coffee at 6 o'clock automatically.
Mm-hmm.
I got a timer on it. I got the flat screen with the Echo and the Amazon and the Google and the Siri. Siri, play Hall and Oates. play John Lennon. Siri, put on Sports Center. Alexa, whatever, you know. Alexa ain't the husband.
You got what they call it, TV, ITV.
Yeah.
They got that.
I don't know. You can fill it with all kind of new gadgets, new electronics, but you know what's not happy in that house? Ain't no peace in that house. There's no rest in that house. There's no comfort in that house. Give me Proverbs 15 and 17. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. If I get Psalms 90 and 17, just on that note.
Read it. Read it. Get it.
Psalms
Let me see it. Let me see it.
They got the digitized fireplace now. That always gets me.
Oh yeah.
You walk in, all the lights turn on, the fireplace turns on.
Yeah. Read that. Alexa, turn on the fireplace.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alexa, start my shower. Set the alarm.
Alexa, keep my house in order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. He didn't follow the scriptures.
Yeah. read that, Dawa.
Psalms chapter 90 and verse 17. And let the beauty of the Most High, our power, be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands upon us. Yeah, the work of our hands, establish thou it.
He said, yeah, the work of our hands, establish thou it. Who do you want to establish your labor? You want the Most High to establish your labor and make all your labor not be in vain. You want the Most High to bless and flourish and accomplish what you put your works in your hands to do. You want the Most High to help you yield something positive. Excellent verse. Get that Proverbs 15 and 17.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 17. Better is a dinner of herbs.
It says better is a what?
Is a dinner of herbs.
It said better is a dinner of herbs. Meaning you don't have much food in the house. There's not a lot in the house to go around. It's not plenty. It's not a lot to choose from. It's macaroni. It's macaronis in there.
It's macaroni.
It's macaronis.
It's Kraft cheese.
And it ain't even the Kraft cheese. They just say macaronis. And then you got a can of beans and you put the macaroni with the beans. And you throw some tomato sauce in it with some. You got a quarter pound of ground beef. You just make something up as you go. But he said better as a goulash. He said, but you throw a can of corn in there, some green beans, and you just stir that up, throw some seasoning in it, and make it work. He said, but better is a what?
Is a dinner of herbs.
Yes, go ahead.
Where love is.
Where what is?
Where love is.
So yeah, you can go into, a lot of people go into the home building process, home economics, home management, relationship building, friendship building. We're going as roommates. We're roommates.
Yeah.
A lot of people go into this home building process as roommates. But even as roommates, it don't work. Because what's not there? They got no love in the house. There's no love in the house. There's no unity in the house. There's no harmony in the house. Read.
Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith.
Now I want you to read this right here. This came from the BibleReference.com on this verse. This commentary. Read that.
This principle applies especially to marriage.
So now we're talking about just roommates, but it especially applies to what?
To marriages.
Marriages. A marriage is a union. Roommates could be a union. Friendships are a union. Read.
Many couples learn the hard way that possessions do not bring happiness.
Possessions don't do what?
Bring happiness.
You could have the latest technology in the house. You could have the most efficient gadgets in the house. You could have the electronic digital thermostat that's controlled by your phone, by an app. You can have apps for everything in the house. But it doesn't mean what?
It doesn't bring happiness.
You could have money in the house, but it doesn't bring what?
Happiness.
You could have all the comfort in the world. You could have HGTV going on in your house. You could have all the new paint colors and the new textures. You could have the new furniture, but it doesn't bring what?
Happiness.
It doesn't bring happiness. People don't understand, especially in America, what to do and how to build a happy home. They don't know. They're lying if they say they know. Look at the statistics. 75% of people don't get it right. 50% a divorce rate. 25%, a quarter of the children living in single-parent families. What does that tell you? People don't know home economics. They don't know home management. They don't know how to function with nobody else. That's a lie if somebody tells you that they do. It's a work in progress, especially if you don't include who? The Most High, then it's destined to fail. Because then you're living by your own rules. You're living by your own strategic commandments. You're living by your own particular opinion. And that's not based on anything. That's based on American failure. There's nothing backing your opinion on learning how to build a happy house. You've never built one. You know why? Because Christ said the whole need not a physician, but who? So why are you here? Because you don't know what you're doing. That's why you're reading the Bible to begin with. That's what we're all doing. We all acknowledge that, you know what, I need the Bible. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Because what I built, if you live long enough, you realize you don't know what you're doing. And you would have started over many times. I myself, when I was 18, ran out, got on my own. I was back sleeping on the couch by 21. Because I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew I was back at home by 21 sleeping on the couch. I didn't have a room no more because my nieces and nephews took it. So that's why I had the couch. I had to hit that couch up. You know why I did that couch up? Because I didn't know what I was doing. You know I had to just work and come home and take a shower, hit the couch, and then go get a job? I had to work, man, I got to work 2 jobs. I got to get out of here. I got to get off this couch. You know what I realized? By 18, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. My mother said, you act like you grown. You want to follow your own rules? Well, okay, get on your own. You see what it is? You know what I had to learn? The hard way. That's why I said most Americans, or most marriages learn what?
So many couples learn the hard way.
It ain't just couples, it's single individuals too, with big ass opinions. They learn the hard way too. Because you know what you don't understand? You never built a working, substantial household to have a reference to go off of. You really haven't even seen one. You came from a broken home. How can you have seen one? A lot of us come from broken homes. But now you got the answers all of a sudden? Oh, you got the answers. You came from a struggling situation. But now you know what a household takes to work, right? Okay. That's what I thought. No, I learned the hard way. It ain't as easy as I thought. I thought all I got to do is work a job. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoy myself, pay these bills, everything was going to be A-okay.
All good.
You know what? I thought I could just date. When you get the money first, then you get the power.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That was the songs I listened to. Money and the power. Money. That's what that rap taught me that. You know what? I thought, first you get the money, then come the women, or then come then the cars, and then all these other things. Man, I didn't include the Most High. That's why what I did failed. Rightfully so, and I'm glad it did. Otherwise, I wouldn't have humbled down. Otherwise, I've still been in my pride because I didn't know what it takes to build a house. You don't know, even though I was in home economics, it didn't teach me how to build a righteous home. It didn't teach me how to make anything righteous work. It was supposed to fail, and I'm glad it did. Read.
God. It says, many couples learn the hard way that possessions do not bring happiness and peace to a relationship. A husband and wife.
Happy wife, happy life. That's not true. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. That ain't true. Read.
A husband and wife may become rich.
It said a husband and wife may become what?
May become rich enough to dine at exquisite restaurants.
You eating 5-star restaurants. You getting filet mignon. But you know what? At the end of the night, she still throw the drink on your face.
Very vivid. It's true.
Bears your cheesecake.
Yeah. And you still get embarrassed at the restaurant. Read on.
Live in a huge house.
And you know what? You could have 7,000 square feet. But still be looking for a corner to go to. Because what's not in that house? There's no escape. Because there ain't no love in that house. Read.
Buy expensive furnishings and drive luxury cars. And yet, if they despise each other, their luxurious life will feel like a torture chamber.
It says, but if they despise each other, that's why Christ said in Matthew, it said a house divided against itself shall not what? Shall not stand. It says, but if they despise, if you got two people coming together, but if they despise each other, it says that it shall be like what?
It says it'll be a
Torture.
Okay. It
Torture
says
chamber.
it shall feel like a what?
A torture chamber.
Now some of us may not know that feeling. Some of us may not have built and failed. But for those that have, you understand how everything you've done, you could see that it amounted to nothing. Because all that's in that house is strife, is arguments, is debate, and it's accusations, and it's blame. And it's your fault? No, it's your fault. What is your fault? Well, you did this. You said that. Well, you did this. And it's all types of accusations. You're the bad guy. No, you're the bad guy. Well, I wouldn't be this way if you didn't do it this way. Because all you're witnessing is what? Two people despising each other. And when you got that in a household, that house is not going to last long. It's all types of innuendos thrown around. All types of disgust, under the breath, or outspoken. The communication is horrible when you got two people that despise each other. The way they talk to each other is crazy. Yes, sir.
Or the silent treatment too.
Or I ignore the person. I just not gonna say nothing. You go your way, I go mine. But you live together. You sleep in that room, I sleep in this room. But you live together. Don't touch my food, I won't touch your food. But you live together. Read on. Let's finish this point right here because I like this this commentary based on this verse. Read.
Solomon teaches that it's better for a couple to live in loving harmony.
It's better for a couple or union to live how?
In loving harmony.
In loving harmony, meaning they get along. See, a lot of us don't know home economics because we don't know how to get along with people. Before I even build a home, I should learn how to what? Get along. Not get alone, but get along.
Yeah.
I gotta learn how to get along with somebody. I don't know how to get along with people. I got my own issues that I've never worked out, but I'm trying to home build. You try to make a marriage. You try to make some matrimony, but you haven't fixed your problems. You haven't identified what's wrong with you. Your communication is bad. But you're gonna build a house. You're gonna build a relationship. You're gonna build a friendship, but you got bad communication. You got bad ethics? What gives you the right to say that you're successful at something you've never done? It's only pride.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost like you try and put in your opinion, and it turns out that everything you say just blows right back up at you. You can't say nothing right.
Can't do nothing
you
right.
Say anything, and it just adds fuel to the fire, and it bounces back. And next thing you know, it's like, dang, I tried. It bounces back, and it's like it's never ending.
Can't win for losing, right? That's what the old saying. Can't win for losing. I tried, man. I tried to, be considerate. It didn't work. Oh, now because they say, oh, now you want to be considerate. Even when you tried. Oh, now you want to be nice. even that attempt is down the drain.
Right. Or
it's
they look at it like it's fake. Are you just being fake? That ain't real.
That ain't real. That's spoken from a man of experience, a man that understands. But what happens when you try this home building process, but you lack understanding? You got to learn the hard way. When if you don't incorporate the Most High into your house building, in your house management, you're in trouble. It's not going to work. Finish that.
Solomon teaches that it is better for a couple to live in loving harmony with meager possessions.
With little possessions. Barely surviving, but there's harmony. There's agreement. There's unity. There's love. There's great conversations. They don't got much, but there's laughter in the home. And there's great conversations. And they get along great. But although they don't have much, but they enjoy each other's company. Read.
Come. And simple meals than to be surrounded with luxury and eat expensive cuts of meat while despising each other.
While what?
While despising each other. It says, in modern terms, a meal of plain bread and water, eating with those we love is more satisfying than a steak dinner among those we hate, who hate one another.
It says a steak dinner is not worth the hate that's thrown around in that household. Give me Proverbs 17:1. So what it's showing is what's important when it comes to home economics. Yes, sir.
So where did all this start? That financial stability was the answer to a successful relationship.
That's an American thing.
Were they the inception of that? Did they come from like Babylon and Nimrod?
No, you know what? When you look at a capitalistic society, when you look at Rome, because Rome was the initiator of a capitalistic mindset, meaning they worshipped capital, they worshipped money. Saturn in Roman times is the god of capital. He's the god of wealth. He's the god of plenty. So when you go back to nations that worship stars, nations that worship figures and idols, they worship what they feel that can bring them stability. Whether that be Norse mythology, whether that be Greek mythology, because Kronos is the Greek version of Saturn. Same equivalent. We know Kronos and Saturn is Nimrod, which is also, Saturn is also known as Nimrod as well, the god of plenty. So when you look at nations that worship capital, that finance, that's why they say, the gods live on Capitoline Hill. In Roman mythology, they live on Capitoline Hill. They worship capital, wealth, and prestige, and finance, and plenty. So that mindset has been around for a long time. So just as long as people have been broke, they've been trying to worship something to bring success. But America is just an extension of all those belief systems. When you look at an encyclopedia, it'll tell you that America is an amalgamation of Egypt, Rome, and Babylon put together. Those three fundamental places is what created an American system. Is those three, individual histories, times in history. America is an amalgamation of all those put together. So when you look at this system of, you get a house, You fill it with furniture, everything is going to be well. And that's how you want to build a house. That theory is garbage, because just as fast as people get them, they lose them. Just as fast as people get them, we see people that are not living in a house more than a year, and they've already been foreclosed on, or the partner already left the other person with all the bills and all the responsibilities, and they can't maintain it, or they get evicted just as fast as they get approved for the place. Same with apartments. We see this all the time. We see evictions. We see foreclosures. We see a writ of, they call it writ of possession. A writ of possession is just a fancy word of saying you got evicted, because you know what, you were left as a single person, or your wealth or your capital was injured or damaged, and you didn't qualify, and you can't maintain your state of living. You can't maintain your lifestyle. Then you have to go back down. But that idea that if I chase and if I go big, if I satisfy myself with stability, I'll be happy. That idea is old. That's an old idea. But what the Bible is showing you is happiness is not quantified based upon your desire to build a house. If you don't know the right ingredients necessary to manage and maintain and create a happy home, there won't be one. Too many times our people leave the Most High out of the equation when it comes to unifying or building anything. Read that one more time.
Come. Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 1 reads, better is a dry morsel.
It says better is a dry morsel. Go ahead.
And quietness
and
what? And quietness therewith.
A dry morsel is a biscuit. A biscuit with no water to chase it down with. Like them Popeyes biscuits.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You gotta have. You can't eat 2 biscuits in a row.
No.
You gotta have some. You gotta.
There's been challenges.
Yeah.
It has not worked.
They will chalk up and they will cake up in your mouth in a heartbeat. They'll stick to the roof of your mouth. It is hard to swallow. It will soak up all your moisture in your mouth, all your saliva. But yeah, you mean it will dry up your palate. You gotta have something to chase it down with. He said, but a dry morsel is better. Go ahead.
Better is a dry morsel and quietness.
And what? And what?
And quietness.
What doesn't live in American households?
And quietness.
Ain't no quietness in American households, bro. There's no quietness. You know what quietness is? Peace. Not because 2 people ignore each other, but they're at peace with each other. They can harmonize. They can actually get in the kitchen and cook together. They can watch the same show together. They can work out together. They can do things together. But he said, but that doesn't guarantee, a big house don't guarantee that. Nice furniture doesn't guarantee that. Nice art and nice decorations don't guarantee that. It doesn't guarantee peace. Good job don't guarantee that. None of those things are guaranteed. Doing it the American way. You can follow the HGTV model. Flip or Flop, Chip and Joanna Gaines. You can follow all the shows on, renovating, turning into good bones. You watch all these shows on how they take an old house and build it, and all of a sudden the clip ends with the couple walking into their new home. Yeah. But it don't tell you how it really ends. The show stops there. We're looking for a place. They always say the same thing. We're looking for a place to set down some roots. They all say the same thing. We're looking for a place to be our forever home. They all say the same thing. We're looking for our forever home. We're looking for a place to lay down some roots and raise some children and pat some babies on our laps. They all say the same thing. But they never tell you how it ends. Because they never tell you what works and what doesn't. They just cater to the idea that if you get this, you'll be happy. You know what? All the house is responsibility. All the house is management. You better learn how to manage. It's management that you're dealing with. You know why? Because everything in the house breaks down. Everything in the house breaks down. The roof don't last forever. The AC conditioner don't last forever. The heater don't last forever. Even the electrical wiring don't last forever. The plumbing don't last forever. The carpet don't last forever. The water leaks. Foundation shifts. The foundation shift. There's cracks in the ceiling, cracks in the concrete. Mold is in the house. No circulation in the house. Now you got growth happening in the house. The air is bad in the house. Now you got critters in the house because there's cracks in the house. Critters of all kinds, shapes and sizes, flying and crawling. All it is management. But you never learn how to manage. You never learn how to use the Bible to manage. But you want to embark on this development and it's engaging and creating this house. But you don't know what it takes to run one. That's why it's better to have a little bit, but have quietness. Go ahead.
Come. Better is a dry morsel and quietness therewith than a house full of sacrifices.
Yeah, hard work. A lot of people work hard to maintain their houses. A lot of people be busting their butt, bending their back over, breaking their back, sweating, doing double shifts, throwing their back out, getting no sleep. They got all kind of sacrifices done to keep that house going, but what's not there? Read.
Then a house full of sacrifices with strife.
But what's in the house?
Strife.
Strife is in the house. Because you know what I never learned how to do? I never learned how to live with somebody peaceably. I never learned how to get along with somebody. So I got this house, but the only thing in it that's consistent is arguments. The only thing that's consistent is debating, blaming. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. You're the reason things are the way they are. No, you're the reason why things are the way they are. People don't understand house management. They don't understand home economics. They don't. What the Bible says it is. That's why the Bible is home economics. It will tell you how to manage a house, how to create a house, how to build a house, how to make a house work. But you leave out the most critical ingredient for home maintenance. You leave the Bible out. And you wonder why it fails. And you wonder why it's in vain. Yes, sir.
I say people think that redecorating the house, the feng shui is off or something like that.
Yeah, the energy is bad, so we're gonna.
They gotta fix the material to it.
They say red paint makes you violent in the house, and blue is a cool color to put. It will calm you down. Blue is a calming, cool color. You got to get rid of that red wall. That's what's creating the hostility and the tension. It's the color of the. It's blue is a cool. You're a painter, bro. You laughing because you paint. Blue is a cool. You got to do a soft blue, soft on the eyes. You don't have enough indoor plants in the house. You got to bring some plants in the house. Yep. You need some fresh air in the house. You got to bring the outdoors in. That's what the feng shui is all about.
That's when they bring the sage in.
Yeah, you got to burn some sage. Garbage, bro.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get hoarders.
Yeah.
You just keep buying stuff and bringing stuff in like that's going to make them happy. That's going to be the solution to everything. You got to buy more stuff.
Before Amazon was big, I used to work at what's that damn Home Shopping Network? QVC. I used to work at QVC. Like when I was young, I was a teenager. I used to work at QVC, and I was the one that you call when you watching TV and you see that something that it's 3 in the morning and you ain't sleep yet because you ain't happy, you're not at peace. and the vacuum cleaner with the 15 attachments come on.
It's time to get.
And you're like, man, I need that. And you call. I was the one to answer the phone. Welcome to QVC. How can I help you? Yes. Do you still have the red vacuum cleaner with the multiple suction? Yeah, we got 3 left. I already got a vacuum that works. Okay, but I'm just buying it because it's on sale.
Right.
You know how many people were just shopping for no reason? Hoarding, like that. What I'm saying. How many people say, you know what? I got boxes from QVC that I've never opened, and they said, but I'm alone. This is the conversation I would have often. I'm alone, by myself. I'm in this big house, and it feels empty, so I just want to fill it with something. I'm in this big house, it's empty, I want to fill it. And I got a closet, I got a room dedicated with unopened QVC packages. And some people would say, you know what I'm calling for? I already ordered it, but I'm just calling to have a conversation.
It's a real thing.
No, I'm serious, bro. I'm retired, and I'm just calling to talk to somebody. She said, you know, one lady told me, she said, you know how to make ice cream out of snow? I said, no, go ahead, tell me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing else going on. You know what? And I don't want to take another call anyway. So tell me how to make ice cream out of snow. Well, you can't do the first fall because that's got chemicals in it. You got to wait till the third or fourth snowfall, and then you get some salt, and then you get the ice outside, and then you get some lemon, and then you get, you churn it, and then you get some beautiful ice cream. I said, thank you, ma'am. We're going to waste 30 minutes on this call learning how to make ice cream out of snow because you ain't got nobody to talk to, and I don't want to answer another phone call. But listen, people do this in their house, but what's missing in the house? They're alone. There's no love in the house. There's no joy in the house. It's strife out. But they got a lot of stuff. They got a lot of stuff. I'm gonna call it junk. They got a lot of junk, but they don't have what's important in the house. You got what makes a house look good, but you're missing the main ingredients. We know what's a main ingredient: peace, rest, sleep, unity, harmony, togetherness, joy, laughter. You're missing the main ingredients. Finish that?
Come. Then a house full of sacrifices with strife.
With strife. 2 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 29. Second Maccabees chapter 2, verse 29.
2 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 29. For as the master builder...
It says, for as the master builder. You could build a house, but it doesn't mean that you're a master builder. It says, but a master builder will do what?
For as the master builder of a new house must care for the whole building.
Stop. It said, if you're a master builder, you don't just stop at the paint color. If you're a master builder, you don't stop at the appliances that you want to put in the house. As a master builder, you don't stop at the furniture you want to put in there. As a master builder, you don't just pick how many bedrooms it has and what type of roof you got, whether it's shingles or whether it's clay, or whether you want an aluminum roof. As a master builder, you don't stop at the aesthetics of the house. If you're a master builder, well, I want a house with this. I want it to look like this. I want this type of roof. I want this type of windows. I want shutters. I want blinds. I want this type of towel. You don't stop at the aesthetics if you're a master builder. When you're home building, you don't stop at paint. He said, but a master builder does what?
For a master builder of a new house must care for the whole building.
You gotta care for the spirit that's in the house. What type of spirit do you want in the house? What does the house? What is the ingredients in the house? What is the house made of? Is it just of nice furniture? Is it a king-size bed? Is it the dresser with the mirror? Is it the 2 nightstands with lamps on it? Is it the vase on the dining room table? Do you want the 6-chair dining room table? That's all that a house is made out of? No. You don't stop at just the aesthetics of a house. You got to look at the whole house. And a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with an American household and an American mind frame, the main ingredients that's missing in a house is the spirit in it. They don't manage the spirits that's in the house. There's no care and the love for the spirit that's in it. Because that's what really is going to determine whether the house lasts or not. Do we read the Bible in the house? Do we pray together in the house? Are we praying in the house? Or is this just the house of you go do your thing and watch your TV shows and I go do my thing and do what I do? Or is this the house of lust? We just meet in the bedroom and that's it. What is the house built on? He said, but if you're a master builder, you care about everything in the house. It's not just the food. It's not the color. It's not the paint. It's not the size of the house. Man, you better look at other things that run a house, that can make or break a house. Is the Most High in this house? Read on.
But he that undertaketh to set it out.
They said, but if you start homemaking, unifying with somebody to build anything, read on, you start that undertaking, because we all have or will at some point in time try to reach out and build our own nest and try to establish some type of roots. Try to unify with somebody and create a family. But if you're going to embark on that type of thing, there's ingredients that you cannot forget about. There's things that you cannot ignore. Read on.
And paint it.
And do what?
And paint it.
Is it just about the paint? No. It's not about the paint. It's not because you got a red wall. It's not because you need more plants, or you need a light blue in the house. Too dark in here. It's not just the paint that make a house.
It's a real.
People say that, man.
Yeah.
It's too dark in the house. That's not why the house has a bad energy. Because it's too dark in here. You need to lighten it up. Bring some yellows and some greens and some colors in here. Some oranges. Read.
Must seek out fit things.
It says you must seek out fit things to put in your house. Everything you put in your house ain't fit. Just because you picked a nice color. That doesn't mean that house is going to work. Because you put smart appliances in your house doesn't mean that house is going to work. Doesn't mean because you put new tile in the house doesn't mean that house is going to work. He says you must seek fit things. Things that are important to the functionality of a house. Read on.
For the adorning thereof.
For the what?
For the adorning thereof.
The things that should be decorated in the house, the things that should be used to decorate a house is good communication. Do you have good communication in that house? Or you just have a nice looking house? Do you have peace in the house? Do you have unity in the house? Or you just got a big screen TV? You got to look at what's important. And too many times we ignore the most valuable aspects of homemaking. Home building. Do I know how to talk to the person that I live with? You know what you'll find out a lot of times in a household situation? That's why Christ said a city divided against itself, a nation divided against itself, and a house divided against itself shall not stand. Houses are breaking up because people can't talk to each other. They know English or they know Spanish, but they don't know how to talk to each other. That just from experience, listening to a lot of trouble, listening to a lot of counsels, and listening to a lot of why houses break up, why roommate situations go bad. Even roommates, not just husband and wife, just roommate situations. We're just roommates. But why does that break up? Because I don't know how to talk to the person that I live with. That communication be so sour. It's so damaging. And it's so injurious that it's hard to live and habitate with somebody that has that kind of speech or that type of disgust. Or I despise the person that I live with. It's critical that you incorporate right communication in the house. You can't ignore the things that make a house work. You can't ignore. It's not about the paint. He said a master builder looks at everything in the house. I got to make sure everything in the house is right. That's how you build in the house right. Give me Proverbs chapter 15 verse 10.
Proverbs 15 verse 10. Correction is grievous unto him.
Hold on. Finish where you at in 29.
God.
Finish where you at in 29. I want to finish that last part.
God. 2 Maccabees chapter 2 verse 29.
There's something important right here at the end. I want you to read that last
the last part, sir.
last part.
God. And painted must seek out fit things.
It says you must seek out fit things for what?
For the adorning thereof.
For the adorning thereof. Just like you take the time to pick out the right paint, the right furniture, the right color, the right tile, the right carpet, the right paintings on the wall, the right sculpture, whatever you put in your house. To each his own. Read.
Even so, I think it is.
He said, even so, he said, I think it is what?
With us.
He says, you got to make sure that you adorn yourself with the right things.
Wow.
Just like you take the time and the energy to decorate a house, you got to make sure that you're decorated appropriately also. He said, it's no different than if the house is nice, but you're not adorned with the right things, then the house will fail. You have to adorn yourself with the right things. You have to beautify yourself, not just the place where you live at. You have to look at the spirit in you. Are you emanating the right energy? Are you walking around with a dark countenance? Are you walking around angry? Are you walking around showing nonverbal communication, but you got a smug half the time in the house? Are you always contentious in the house? What are you adorned with in the house? To hell with the paint color. To hell with the nice towel. What are you walking around with? Because there's verbal communication, there's nonverbal. There's people that might not say much, but you know what? It's written all over their face that they're not happy. Yes, sir.
Would it be safe to say that communication is important in learning how to learn to agree together?
Very much so. Very much so. Very much so. Matter of fact, Ecclesiastes 40 and 23. Just on that point, that what I'm saying. Very much so, bro. Communication is critical. 23.
Ecclesiastes, the 40, verse 23. Ready?
Yep.
A friend and a companion never beat this.
It says a friend and a companion, whether that be a roommate situation, whether that be a friendship, we're working together, we're living together, we're coexisting together, we're functioning as a partnership, we have a partnership. He says a friend and a companion should what?
Never meet amiss.
Now give me that definition of amiss in 1828. He says they should never meet amiss. If they're on the same page, they should never meet amiss. Read.
Amiss in the 1828 Webster's Dictionary. Point number 1. Wrong. Faulty. Out of order.
It says a friend and companion never meet amiss. They're never what?
Wrong.
They're never wrong.
Faulty.
They're never faulty. What
Out
else?
of order.
They don't function how?
Out of order.
They learn how. They know how to talk to each other to maintain order. They don't know. They don't get out of order with each other. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's like Amos 3:3.
Con. Amos 3 and 3 says what?
Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Can two walk together except they be agreed? They got to be on the same page. But when you got a friend and companion on the same page, they don't wrong each other. Whether it be a roommate situation, whether it be a partnership, whether it be a husband and wife, they know what it takes to work together. They know how to function together as a unit, as a couple, or as a partner. They can function together. Read.
Con.
It said amiss, wronged, out of order. What else?
Improper.
Improper. They're not improper with each other. They're always appropriate. The language is appropriate. It's appropriate for the purpose of friendship. It's appropriate for the purpose of companionship. What else?
Contrary to propriety.
It says they're not contrary to propriety. Propriety is the ingredients for making something successful or making something work. Meaning they both know what ingredients are necessary to make the companionship work. They both know the ingredients necessary to make the friendship work. They both know the ingredients necessary to make a marriage work. It says that they're not off when it comes to the propriety of what it's made of, or what the friendship is made of what the relationship is made out of. They're not wrong in knowing what it's made out of and how it should be made and what makes it work. What else?
Truth. Law or morality.
It says there's always truth.
Truth.
There's always laws, rules, and there's always morality. Meaning, I'm looking at what benefits that other person, not just myself. I have morals. Meaning, I have benevolence. I have goodwill towards this other person. I want to make sure I exemplify what's right. Give me the rest of that definition in a miss.
Con.
The last part, the last thing you see on that definition.
Con. It says apply to the body.
It says, read what else?
Con. It signifies indisposed.
No, read what is the last thing you got on there?
Con. That's the last thing right there.
There's something else in there you're missing.
It says,
Well, it may not be amiss to ask advice.
Say it again?
It may not be amiss to ask advice.
No.
In a faulty manner.
Nope. Read the last thing you see on there.
I was
Con.
somewhat amiss to it.
What does it say?
It says, the one that I see right here says, apply to the body. It signifies indisposed. It says, I am somewhat amiss today. That's the last thing.
Okay. I got in one definition I've seen, it says it can be applied in any country and anywhere.
Wow.
Meaning when you look at the power of unity, you could apply it. No, I take it back. Wrong definition. Give me the definition of hospitality. That's what I want. Give me the definition of hospitality. That's where I seen it at. Hospitality. The last thing you see on hospitality. Hospitality.
Con. Hospitality. It says,
What you got?
Hospitality. I have found a universal.
He says hospitality is what?
Universal.
When it comes to making a friendship work, when it comes to making a marriage work, when it comes to a partnership, when it comes to a roommate situation, it says the thing that's universal, it can work in any country, even in a broken society like America. It says hospitality is what?
Universal.
It's universal, meaning it can work anywhere. That's why when you go to Japan, they're known for what? They're known for their hospitality. What do they do when they meet you? They bow.
Yep.
First thing they do is they bow. They bow. They acknowledge you. When you go to Hawaii, what are they known for?
Aloha.
Aloha. What do they put around your neck? A lei, which is what? Flowers. Look at it. They welcome you with flowers and put them around your neck when you show up. Because they're known for what? That's how you know who's been to Hawaii. They come back with what? The flowers on their neck. You know, when you go to other countries, they're known for hospitality, how they entreat their guests. You know the only place that don't know how to treat their guests is America. They don't know how to treat their guests.
Out of the road.
You know, they don't know. If people that American mind frame, they don't know how to entreat anybody with anything. He said, but hospitality is universal. Read on.
As the face of man.
It says, and anywhere you find a man on earth, you can always apply hospitality and it works. But you know who ain't figured that out? Us. Amongst our people. That's one thing that we've never figured out, the power of hospitality. You know, half the time you haven't realized why you can't make something work because you don't understand what hospitality is. Why things fail so often. These are ingredients that work everywhere. These are universal ingredients. It says the definition of amiss is not a propriety to truth. Meaning the way you do things are not true. You miss ingredients to make something work. The ingredients that we miss be something what we think is simple as hospitality. What is the definition of hospitality? I got you too.
Read the whole thing now?
Yeah, read the top.
Come. The act or practice of receiving and entering strangers or guests. Entertaining strangers or guests without reward.
It says, you know what we don't know how to do? We don't know how to treat people right for free. You don't owe me nothing. I don't owe you nothing. But you know what? I just care about what entertains you for free. I'm not looking for something in return. I have goodwill towards you because that's the kind of person I am. Because I want to see you happy. But you know who lacks that? People that lack home building ability. They really don't understand what hospitality is. To do something for somebody without throwing it in their face. I did it because I just wanted to see you smile. I did this because I wanted to see you happy. I did this because I care about your joy and your laughter. I'm not asking for anything in return. We don't know how to do nothing for free. All of our good deeds come with a string attached. Well, you know, based on the things that I do, who are you to talk to me a certain way? You better treat me a certain way. You better consider me a certain way. Because I do this, this, and that. Because look at all the good that I do. That's not hospitality. Hospitality is the ability to do good to somebody for their entertainment, even though you don't get nothing in return. We're supposed to be lovers of hospitality, according to what the scriptures say. Yes, sir.
So why is it easier to apply hospitality to temporary relationships like guests versus long-term relationships?
Because there's scars involved. There's history involved. There's damage involved. And when you're dealing with somebody that you may have been with for a while, there's already a negative buildup of a incidents, a multitude of incidents and blames that they've collected in their mind to decide whether you're worth that type of entreaty, whether you're worth that type of extension or hospitality. They got a hit list out on you of all the damage that you've caused them. And so for that reason, they decide you don't deserve to be treated or talked to a certain way. Yes, sir.
I was saying, usually with somebody that's new or you don't know that, there's no expectation.
There's no expectation.
Right? With somebody you've known for a while, there's expectations, especially with things that you think you've done.
Or things that you feel like you've explained already.
Right.
I shouldn't have to explain myself. I shouldn't have to tell you that you're being disrespectful. You should already know.
And I'm offended because you didn't know, or you didn't act in a way with what you, or because I act this way, I expect that you should act this way.
Or we've had this conversation already.
Right.
We've already talked about this. Why are we having to revisit this conversation? I thought we already talked about this already. Then you, at this point, you just don't give a damn.
Right.
So there's no benefit of the doubt. But when there's somebody that's new, hey, there's no offenses. So there's the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, you give somebody a clean slate. But what doesn't work? These things are deteriorating to a relationship when I don't really have hospitality. What is that definition one more time, my Waller?
The act or practice of receiving and entertaining strangers or guests without reward, or with kind and generous liberality.
Liberality, meaning kind and generous liberality, meaning if I'm in a union, a friendship, a companionship, a partnership, a roommate situation, a household, I got to learn how to give for free. Because that's what liberality is. I can give for free. I don't hold my good deeds or my charity over somebody's head and throw it in their face because I did something good. So now I feel like this person is in debt to me. This person owes me a certain thing. You know what? I know how to be good to people just for the sake of being good. I know how to talk respectfully to you just because Christ put you on the earth. I didn't put you on the earth. Christ brought you here. Who am I to despise you? That's why I say he that despises man, despises not man, but who?
The Most High.
Why would I despise you? I didn't create you. How could I despise you? I didn't make you. I didn't bring you here. I didn't give you your existence. I didn't give you your being. How could I disrespect something I didn't create? How can I despise somebody that I didn't build? But we don't know how to do that. And this is why homes fall. This is why households and unions fail. Because they don't know how to talk to each other. Verse 23, one more time, chapter 40, Ecclesiastes. Back on Taiwan's question. Ecclesiastes chapter 40, verse 23.
Come, I got it. Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 40 and verse 23 reads, a friend and a companion never meet a miss.
They're always on the same page. They know how to talk to each other. Read on.
But above both,
It says, but even better than a friend and a companion. When you're building a marriage, when you're building a partnership, a holy matrimony, above both, go ahead.
but above both is a wife with her husband.
Is a what?
A wife with her husband.
But it's more important when you're dealing with a wife with who?
With her husband.
She has to know how to be on the same page. It's crucial for a wife to know how to be on the same page with her husband. It's critical for that marriage. It's more important for a wife to know how to talk to, show hospitality to, how to be generous to, how to be kind to her husband. That's critical. It's more important than the friendship and the companionship. When you're dealing with a husband and wife, those are intangibles. You can't take away kindness. You can't take away hospitality and expect the marriage to work. It's not going to work. That household is in vain. You put all that furniture in there just to take it out, just to call us. That's why we'll come through, and we'll come through and take it out for you for the nice price. For a nice price, we'll come get it.
Yeah.
And relocate you. These are intangibles. You gotta make sure that these things are present in a marriage, especially with a wife. She gotta know how to talk to her husband. She gotta know how to be on the same page as her husband. She gotta know how to agree with her husband. She has to know how to be like-minded with her husband. It's a must. That's why I say above them both is a what?
Is a wife with her husband.
It says above both is a wife with her husband. It's showing you how critical it is when it comes to marriage building, marriage making. The wife got to know how to be in compliance, got to know how to talk to, be in subjection to, follow, be obedient to, take instruction from. You got to, it's important, man. Real quick, Ecclesiastes 37, verse 10. Because you know how people get the wrong advice.
Yep.
Girl, I don't know why you do what you do for that man. I couldn't do it. You better than me, girl. You better than me, girl. I couldn't put up with that. There's no way I could put up with all that and then expect me to be there. Shh. I'm hitting the road. Who you getting advice from? Who you listening to? Ecclesiastes chapter 37, verse 10. Read that.
Ecclesiastes 37 and verse 10. Consult not with one that suspecteth thee, and hide thy counsel from such as envy thee.
Read.
Neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous.
There's certain things that you talk about with people that do things successfully. Not everybody is good at everything. So you got to know who to get your advice from, especially when you're talking about home building. When you're talking about marriage making, relationship building, who do you get your advice from? Who do you consult with? Who do you talk to about when it comes to making something work? Who do you go to? Do you go to somebody that doesn't have your best interest at heart when it comes to how you should pick and choose and build a household? Or should you go to somebody that successfully has been building or has an understanding of what it takes to build a household? Who do you go to? Who do you counsel with?
God the sister.
Read.
God. Neither with a coward in matters of war.
Do you talk to a coward when it comes to going to war? Somebody that's afraid to fight when it comes to battles? No. He's showing you that not everybody is good at everything. There's particular conversations that you're supposed to have with people, and you allow them to imprint your mind for those that are involved into what they're telling you to do. They're doing what they're telling you you should do. They're giving you advice from a particular standpoint, a successful standpoint. You don't get marriage advice from somebody that's never been married. Or I let the single women influence me and I'm married. But I got a whole group of single friends that are telling me how to maintain my marriage. And they've never made one work. But you got advice from single sisters, single ladies that's never been married, but are going to tell you what it takes to make a marriage work. What he's saying is not everybody is good at everything. So you have to be calculated when it comes to advice. You have to be calculated when it comes to who you gain information from. You want to get information from those that are successful in what they're doing, that are coming to you, giving you advice from a truthful standpoint, a positive standpoint. This works, this doesn't work. Read on.
Nor with a merchant concerning exchange.
Read on.
Nor with a buyer of selling. Nor with an envious man of thankfulness.
Read.
Nor with an unmerciful man touching kindness.
And when somebody's unmerciful, somebody's ratchet in their mentality, do you converse or get counsel with somebody that has a ratchet mind frame when it comes to mercy and treating somebody right? They're going to tell you to dog them out. Just like some men would just tell you, hey, man, you get what you can get and split. Hit it and quit it. Get in and get out. Don't stay long. See what you can get, reap the benefits, and chunk the deuce. Don't even tell her your real name. Give her an alias. Tell her your name is Bill Bixby. For those that know, you know. Don't give it. Never tell her where you live. Don't bring it to your house. Don't introduce her to your mama. Don't tell her your real name. Don't tell her where you work at. She'll show up on the job. Don't give her no real information. Utilize this individual for what you can get out of them and split and chunk the deuce. But that's real advice. But is that right advice for building? For marriage making? No. People get advice from the wrong things. And they wonder why it doesn't work. Or they have their own opinion. And they wonder why it doesn't work. Well, you know, I suppose a marriage is supposed to be like this. I suppose, based on my quantifications, based on my studies, a marriage should look like this. You ain't never had one. You never made one. You never built one. You never been in one, a real one, a successful one. But you have engineered your idea of what a marriage is supposed to look like. And you wonder why that person doesn't fit the description. And that person's always coming up short because it doesn't fit your imagination. You're supposed to be like this. I'll never be that person. If that's the case, you're supposed to take care of this and be responsible for that. This is how you're supposed to be as a husband or as a wife. You'll never fit that person's expectations. There'll always be some discord. Read.
Nor with the slothful for any work.
Read.
Nor with an hireling for a year of finishing work.
Verse 12.
Come, but be continually with a godly man.
It said, but be continually with who?
A godly man.
You gotta be when you're homemaking, you gotta get advice from who?
A godly man.
You gotta get advice from godly men, godly sisters. Because they're gonna tell you how to build an appropriate household. Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're going to tell you the righteous answer to stuff, the right way of how the Most High feels about it, not how they feel about it.
Right.
Because it's always they're telling you that, oh, I feel you should this, I feel you should that. It's always feelings. You know what I'm saying? With somebody from the world. But as far as somebody that brings you the truth in scriptures, that's coming from the Most High. We know that's right.
And it will work. The advice will work. Because it's using biblical principles. It's coming from a virtuous standpoint. They're not just making it up based on feelings and emotions. They're not going off emotions. You know, a person say, you know, I give a person 3 chances. 3 strikes you out. Is that the Bible? The Bible says what? 70 times 7.
I said, oh Lord, increase our faith.
Yeah, so yeah, it did. Man. You know what that means? It's not 3 strikes you out. Because if we want to quit quick, we want to quit on somebody fast. We want to give up on somebody in a heartbeat. We want to give up on what could work and what's possible in a heartbeat because our tolerance for people is so low. Yeah. We don't tolerate one another so well. You know, I done been through this. You know, my temperance is short with people. I'm ready to give up like that. I'm ready to quit like that. But you know, but you know what? If you talk to somebody that agrees with that mentality, then yeah, you gonna follow that. But if somebody that knows that knows the right ingredients will say, listen, just like all relationships, there's not gonna always be this on one accord where there's unity and there's compatibility. You gotta sit down and discuss these things, and you gotta be open about, you know, what it is that bothers you, or you gotta be able to go to some sisters to give you counsel before you bring it home. Just like we'll tell a man, hey, talk to a brother before you go home. If you got a chip on your shoulder, you angry, discuss this and vent to a brother before you bring it home, because you're going to bring your frustration right to the house.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let that out. Vomit that and vent that pain or that discomfort out. Let a brother hear that who can absorb it and handle it before you bring it home to your wife. Or a sister, go to Ecclesiastes 31 and 31 real quick. A sister could not understand, a wife could not understand, hey, this might be the right time to bring this situation out. The timing could be off. Read this.
Ecclesiastes 31 and verse 31.
Read that.
Rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine.
You're going to wait until this person is at the wine. Wine is for, the scriptures say wine was made for what? To make men what?
Merry.
Make the heart merry and make men glad, right? So you're going to wait for the height of this person's comfort level. And you're going to wait for the height of their enjoyment.
Yeah.
You're going to wait until they're at their height of joy and mirth to bring out the fact that they let you down and that you got a problem with them. What is this showing right here? People don't always have what? No, the timing is off. The time that they choose, the discretion, the time that they choose to bring something out. You don't know when to bring something to somebody. You're going to wait till somebody's at the height of joy on their only day off. The only day off, and they finally get into a relaxed posture. And they're ready to enjoy and embrace your company. And when they're ready to embrace your company and your friendship, and they're finally open and away from distraction to where you can finally get their whole attention, and you want to take that moment to discuss how somebody has not living up to their duties. You're going to wait for that time. Or you're going to wait till this man go to sleep and he's just about to close his eyes. He's laying down, his eyes are just about to close. So you just going to go to sleep? You're just going to go to sleep, huh? You act like you ain't see nothing? Oh. You act like you didn't say what, so you're just going to say, like you don't say what you're going to say, and that's it, huh? We just supposed to drop it? Is that it? We just supposed to drop it? Leave it like that? That timing don't be what? It don't be off. But if you with a godly man or godly woman, she'll tell you the right time. She'll instruct you when the time to best bring this out, or this issue, or this gripe, or this complaint, or this situation, and how to do it tastefully. But when you just roll off or you going off the wrong advice, your timing is always going to be off. When you choose to bring out a division or a difference in something, the timing is off. Read on.
And despise him not in his mirth.
Yeah, but when this man is at his most joyous point, he finally gets some relief from a hard week, and this is when you want to pick an argument. This is when you want to start a fight. He didn't work all day dealing with horrible customers. Been talked down to, got pulled over. You wait till this moment to bring out what you're not happy about. Okay. Read.
Give him no despiteful words.
But you want to give him what?
Despiteful words.
You want to talk about what somebody's not sufficient in, or somebody's not keeping up the end of their bargain. You picked the wrong time. People don't know. People don't have right. They don't have good timing. This is another reason why conversations be bitter as hell. Why situations that could have been resolved there's never a resolution, and there's confrontation that escalates because what is off? And timing be off. The tactfulness, timing. Tactful by definition means to know what's aesthetically pleasing. I know what is appropriate for the time. I know what I can bring up and what's good to bring up at the right time. And I know also what's going to escalate and cause a fight, an argument. But I'll choose this moment to explain my disgust. Read on. You want to bring something out?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up verses on that point. Ecclesiastes 20 and verse 6 through 7.
We got that.
Hold that.
Hold that. We got that. Yeah, read that. Finish reading that in 31.
Come and press not upon him with urging him as to drink.
And press not upon him, right? So it's telling you when somebody's at the height of their joy, you know, they're in the middle of venting or relaxing, enjoying themselves. That's not the time you want to bring out that you're disgusted with this individual. But our people don't know what time is appropriate. But if you counsel with a godly person, they'll tell you when and what's appropriate. They'll tell you, hey, I would bring this up and say these words. If you want the best outcome for this scenario, use these words for this situation, and you'll pacify that person's wrath, or you'll get an understanding. Yes, sir.
In the world, man, they'll tell you, as you already know, that, man, just say what you feel, forget what they've been talking about.
Yeah.
What they think about.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Let them know what time it is. You know, and therefore, the single parent household just went to 24% from 23. 1 more percent higher. The rate of divorce just went up. The struggles just went up. The family violence just went up. Domestic disputes just went up. Police get 1 more phone call. The jail doors swing open 1 more time. Because you know what people don't understand? They don't understand what's appropriate. They don't know how to make a house work, how to manage a household. It's detrimental. You're not going to learn that from school. You can only get this from the Bible. There's things that school will not teach you. There's things that school is not sufficient in. There's certain things that you can only learn from godly individuals who meditate daily on scriptures. And you have to apply it their way. Otherwise, you can build whatever house you think you want to build. And it can be as pretty as you want it to be. But it will fail. That's why I said be continually with who?
Godly man.
Finish that.
But be continually with a godly man.
Go ahead.
Whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord.
But if you want success in being a master builder, especially of a home situation or a union or a friendship, then you better put yourself around who?
A godly man. Whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord.
Read.
Whose mind
is
is
and what makes this person trustworthy? Because it says who knowest that whose mind is what?
Whose mind is according to thy mind.
They actually have your best interests at heart, even if you don't know what's good for you. They know what's better for you ultimately in the end, down the road, long range. They're able to see the inevitable demise or the flourishing of a relationship. They have better foresight than you do. They know what's better for you. They understand if you continue to do things the way you're doing it when it comes to homemaking, your homemaking is not going to last. It's going to fail. But a godly person with right instruction, constant meditation on the word, they'll give you instruction so that your house can flourish. So your efforts are not in vain. Your work is not in vain. Your labor is not in vain. Your sacrifices aren't in vain. You got to put the right people around you when you're doing something that you're embarking on that you're unfamiliar with or you're new to. You got to make sure that you incorporate the right type of influence. Otherwise, you're going to build, but it's going to be destroyed. It's going to fall. Be a house of cards. Read.
God, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry.
So he said, and they'll sorrow with you if thou what?
Miscarry.
Fall.
If you fall. Meaning what? They care about you. They empathize with you. They care about you. They care about what happens with you. They care about what you build. They're not happy if you fall. When you're dealing with, when you're getting advice from godly people, you know, they're not excited to see you lose. They're hurt because you failed, because you lost. It's like the Most High said in Ezekiel. He said, "Say unto the children of Israel, I have no death I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked." Godly people don't enjoy seeing you fail. They want to see you win. They want to see you build and grow and flourish and expand, and everything you touch flourish. But you got to be willing to put yourself around those individuals that have been building and working on successful households, successful marriages, successful friendships. A lot of times, brother, we tell brothers, listen, brother, why don't you learn how to be at the brother's house and be a brother before you learn how to be a husband? All the things necessary to be a good husband, you learn where? At the brother's house. Not every camp has a brother's house. Not every camp believes in a brother's house. But for our camps, we believe in brothers' houses. Because you know where you learn how to work out your kinks? The fact that you're not compatible? The fact that you're lazy and you're slothful? And that you're selfish? Or you're inconsiderate? Or you're nasty as hell? And you don't know how to clean? Or you don't study, you play too much? You know where you learn all that from? Before a woman has to throw it in your face. Because a woman will throw it in your face. Before you got to hear it from a female voice, you hear it from who? From brothers. And it's better that you hear from brothers. Open rebuke is better than secret love. It's better you hear from brothers. Damn, brother, you lazy as hell, brother. Damn, brother, you nasty as hell. Clean your damn room up, bro. What's wrong with you? You think a woman going to want to put up with this? She going to throw it in your face. Damn, brother. You live like a pig. How you going to deal with somebody like that? Damn, brother, you won't give no, you only care about you. You eat all the food. You're very inconsiderate. You ain't think about nobody else in the house. You ate all the food in the refrigerator. It's better that you hear it from who? Brothers. And work all those things out before you go and jump into a house in a union, all for a woman just to tell you the same things brothers could have told you. And that should have told you. You could have worked them kinks out a long time ago. You could have learned how to be a master builder by the time you got married. Because you was practicing home building with who? With the men around you. You was practicing home economics with the brothers around you. Sweet words do what? Multiply friends. I knew how to be compatible with people before I even got to the point of being compatible with a woman. I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to be on the same page with people, with brothers, before I even learned how to be on the same page with a woman. Because they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. They say women and men don't think alike. But you know what? People are people. Slothfulness is slothfulness. Laziness is laziness. Bitterness is bitterness. But hospitality is universal. The same thing that it takes to make a union work with brothers is the same thing it takes to make a marriage work in a marriage. But if you don't learn how to operate as a person with men around you, or sisters with elder sisters, you can despise all the elder sisters you want. You think you can skip level A and go straight to Z. You can be a young sister and despise elder sisters all you want. But you know who holds the key to success? Who? Them elder sisters. Them same ones you ignore, despise, or refuse to talk to or dialogue with. You know what they have the capability of showing you? How to make a marriage work, how to make a union work, how to make a friendship work. If I'm a woman that can't get along with women, is that a good sign or a bad sign? That's a bad sign. If I can't take correction, male or female, is that a good sign or a bad sign? That's a bad sign. Now give me hold this real quick. Give me Psalms chapter 58 verse 8. Give me Psalms chapter 58 verse 8.
Psalms chapter 58 and verse 8.
Read that.
As a snail which melteth, let every one of them that pass away like the ultimately birth of a woman.
No, hold on.
Timely.
Untimely though.
Untimely birth of a woman.
Read.
That they may not see the sun.
That's not what I want. Hold on. Hold on. Give me no, I want I know what it is. Hold on. It says it says let me quote it correctly. Hold on. It's in the Old Testament. Hold on. It's talking about when it's in Proverbs.
Or Ecclesiastes.
No, it's Psalms 58 and 2, not verse 8. 58 and 2. Yes, it's 58 verse 2 because it's worded a certain way. It shows you what people do, how people go wrong, how people make mistakes in friendship building, in relationship building, in marriage building. It shows you what they do wrong. Get that? Psalm 58 verse 2.
Psalms chapter 58 and verse 2. Yea, in heart.
It says the problem starts where?
In heart.
It says it starts in the mind. But how does it come out? It starts in the mind, but how does it manifest itself? It says in heart, people do what?
Ye work wickedness.
It says you work wickedness. How? How do we work wickedness in mind? Where do we go wrong at when it comes to household building? Read on.
Ye weigh the violence of your hand.
It says you weigh the violence of your hands. Go ahead.
In the earth.
So you dictate how you treat people. You dictate what you think is fair. You tell yourself who deserves respect and who doesn't. You determine what is righteousness and what is unrighteousness. You dictate what is fair and what's not unfair. You tell yourself this is just and that's unjust. You are your own scale. Your own mind is your scale. You don't use the Bible as the scale on how to treat people. You determine who gets the benefit of the doubt and who doesn't. You determine who should receive hospitality and who doesn't. You decide who you should grant forgiveness and who you should hold a grudge against. The problem with people is they don't measure the treatment of other people based off biblical scriptures, laws, and context, biblical context. They go off of who? They go off themselves. They utilize themselves. I am my own judge, jury, and executioner. I decide who I'm gonna hate. I decide who I'm not gonna talk to. I decide who's worthy of my counsel. Who should I let in and who I shouldn't. I don't like that sister. I don't like that brother. The problem is who? You. You too busy dictating who you should trust. When the Bible tell you, be continually with who?
Godly.
A godly man. When you got a godly man or a godly sister, you shouldn't tell yourself, that person don't know me. I don't give a damn. I don't talk to that sister. I don't talk to that brother. If that's a godly man, if that's a godly sister, then who who gives you the right to despise them and say they're not godly? When they're always been in your corner, they got your best interest at heart. They're looking out for you. They care about you as a shepherd, as a woman or a male. They want to see you happy. But you decide and determine they don't deserve me. I don't got to talk. I don't talk. I don't like them. That's the problem. He said the biggest issue is we're the ones who are deciding who to treat and how, with what level of compassion, hospitality, benevolence, goodwill, tolerance. The problem is we use a faulty scale, and that scale is our own opinion. And this is why you miss out on half of the instruction that you could be getting. Because you're too busy looking at how you look at things. Based on your determination, your discernment. Although your discernment is shallow. Your discernment is unproven. You haven't built something that works. But yet you're too busy talking about who you're not going to talk to. Who you're not going to allow influence you in the right way. What do you call that? It's pride. All it is pride. And this is where people go wrong at. But the issue starts in the mind. The issue starts with the person in here. I tell myself, who am I going to trust and not going to trust? The hell of the fact that they're godly. They've been serving the Most High, and they have a track record of building sisters up. They have a track record of building marriages up. They got a track record of building brothers up. But you despise them? The problem is with you. Read that one more time.
Come. Psalms chapter 58 and verse 2 from top. Yea, in heart ye work wickedness.
He said that's where the wickedness at. All the wickedness in man starts where? In their damn mind. It's in that mind. It's in their thoughts. You controlled by your thoughts. Not by reason. Not by wisdom. Neither by understanding. Jump to Ecclesiastes chapter 21 verse 25.
Ecclesiastes chapter 21 verse 25. The lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertain not unto them.
You got a lot of people that can talk, but are they good communicators? They know how to talk to. Do they know how to talk to people correctly? Do they have the right content of their conversation is right, is appropriate? A lot of people can speak English or speak Spanish. They know a lot of people can talk, but that doesn't mean they're good communicators. Just because you can talk doesn't mean you're a good communicator. A lot of people pride themselves off the fact that they're good talkers. I can dialogue with the best of them. I can go back and forth with anybody. A lot of people love the spirit of debate.
Yep.
But you know what they haven't mastered? The spirit of building something right and building something that lasts. But they love to talk. They love to dialogue, but they can't build anything to flourish. He said the lips of talkers do what?
The lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertain not unto them. But the words of such as have understanding.
It said, but the words of such as have understanding, read on,
are weighed in the balance.
But how do you know when somebody got understanding? Because they weigh their words in what?
In the balance.
They weigh their words in a balance. They use appropriate speech at all times. It's not that they just know how to talk. They know how to execute right speech. See, somebody that's in the Bible will show you how to execute right speech. Speech that teaches you how to make a situation flourish. How to make a marriage work. How to make a friendship work. How to make a bond work. Or a partnership work. Or a roommate situation work. Just because you know how to talk doesn't mean you know how to use appropriate words. Doesn't mean that. Read on.
The heart of fools.
It said, but the way you know this is where? Read on.
Is in their mouth.
How do you know when somebody has understanding or not?
The heart of fools is in their mouth.
How do you know when somebody has discretion or not?
Is in their mouth.
How do you know when somebody knows how to make a marriage work or not?
Is in their mouth.
How do you know when somebody knows how to build a house and make a marriage work?
Is in their mouth.
Is in their mouth. But not everybody that speaks have understanding. and all their words aren't appropriate. Just because you can speak doesn't mean that you've mastered effective communication. People love to pride themselves on the fact that they can speak. But all their communication is destructive. It's not effective because nothing comes from it. Nothing is built off of it. You got to learn how to weigh your thoughts in a balance. You got to learn how to use appropriate understanding. Okay, if I say these words at this time, what effect will it have on this person? Will this person grow from this? Or this person gonna doubt me or hate me for it? Or am I just gonna be bold and just speak my mind and not give a damn? I just gotta say what I gotta say. And if you take it wrong, that's your fault.
Yeah.
That's your fault. You took it wrong. But that ain't what I meant. That's just your fault. You took it wrong. Hey, that's on you.
Are you enemy because I tell you the truth now?
Yeah. Am I this bad guy because you can't take what I gotta say? Man. But he said that understanding is where. We know the scriptures say a man is known by his look, right?
Yep.
By his gait, his excessive laughter, his attire. But you also know who has understanding by what? By their mouth. By the word selection. People that know how to speak, they got piss poor word selection. They choose words that destroy, that don't build. But then they wonder why friendships don't last. Why unions don't last. Because I haven't let somebody show me how to correctly use effective communication where my sweet words multiply friends. I can build with my mouth. I can build with my words instead of tearing down. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 20, verse 5 now. Elisha brought this out earlier. Ecclesiastes chapter 20, verse 5. I think you had brought up verse 6. Start at verse 5.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 20, verse 5. There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise.
You know why there's one that keepeth silence and is found wise? Because they know when to speak. The timing is right. They know when this is a good time to say this, or if I say this, this will ruffle somebody's feathers. This will cause a misdirection or misunderstanding because the time isn't right. This is a sensitive time for this individual. Let me be careful about what I choose to bring out right now. Let me be considerate. I can see what this person is going through. Let me not be brutish or harsh or roguish in my speech. Let me not be careless in my speech. Let me test the water to find out what's going on with this person before I unleash on them. Read.
And another by much babbling becometh hateful.
And just because people can talk a lot, does that make people love you more just because you can talk a lot?
No.
No. It said by much babbling, he becomes what?
Hateful.
Hateful. Just because you can talk don't mean people that will receive that. Timing is everything. Knowing when to say things. The content of what you're saying. When to bring out certain issues. Whether you bring it out with gentleness, with meekness. Using the right virtues when you talk. That's important. That's more important than just running your mouth. Everybody can run their mouth. Doesn't mean they're effective in their communication. Doesn't mean they know how to make a marriage work. Read on.
Verse 6. Some man holdeth his tongue because he hath not to answer.
And you know what? If I'm holding my tongue, if I'm gonna keep my words to myself, because I know, okay, I don't know what to say, and if I do say something, it may come out the wrong way. So what should I do at that point if I know that my word selection may not be the best? Say it again.
That's old school. Don't say nothing. You ain't got nothing good to say. Or something like that.
The saying is,
You ain't got nothing good to say. Don't say nothing.
yeah, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing at all. That's what the world says. But the Bible says what? Proverbs 15:28. What does the Bible say? What does the Bible say about that? Because the world will tell you that, just keep your words to yourself. But that's not what the Bible says. If you don't have any words to say and you don't know what to say to a person, it says you're supposed to do what?
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 28.
Read.
The heart of the righteous studieth to answer.
What should I do if I don't have the right words to say to a person?
Study.
Should I just unleash it anyway?
Study.
Whatever happens, happens?
Study.
I don't give a damn. If they don't like it, they don't like it.
Study.
Or what's better than me just giving somebody the silent treatment?
Study.
Study to do what?
To answer.
So if I don't have an answer, if I don't know how to respond appropriately, if I don't have the right words to speak to a person, to build something, then what should I be doing?
Study.
I should be studying so that I can provide the right answer. So I can use the right words. I study so that the Most High can give me the words that build up, not destroy. To make friendships work. I shouldn't just go off the handle, fly off the handle, because that's how I felt. You push my buttons. But you know what I should do if I don't have the right speech? Go in the Bible and let the Most High show me what is the best approach to talk to this person to get the best out of this situation.
Study.
I should study the answer.
Huh.
Too many people don't do that either. They don't put themselves around godly individuals enough because they're too busy deciding what's right and what's wrong, using their own mind as a balance. And then also, the second thing people don't do, and why they have faulty home economics, is because they don't study to find the answer. How to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
How to get the best out of this union. As brothers, or as sisters, or as a husband, as a wife, as friends. I don't study enough to find out what works. That's what I should be doing. Go back to Ecclesiastes 20. Verse 7. No, verse 6.
God. Ecclesiastes chapter 20, verse 6.
Read that.
Some man holdeth his tongue because he hath not to answer.
So, yeah, if I don't know what to answer, then that's time to get my study on. I got to learn how to talk to people. Because my words are destructive. If you talk to people the American way, there will be no relationship. There'll be no friendship. There'll be no home economics. There'll be no house. There'll be no family. You better study. Read on.
And some keepeth silence, knowing his time.
And it's also important when you do speak, you know what?
His time.
You know what time. You know, is this time appropriate? Is this the right time to bring this gripe out? Is this the right time to express my disgust? Is this the right time to let somebody know how I feel like they let me down? Or to tell a person, I don't think you shit. People say that too.
Yeah.
I think you full of crap. But I'm supposed to know the time. Timing is essential. The content is essential, and the timing is essential. Counseling is essential. Job chapter 32. Just to elaborate on this point. Job chapter 32 verse 11. Job chapter 32 verse 11.
Job chapter 32 and verse 11. Job 32 verse 11. Behold, I waited for your words.
And you know what's wisdom? When a person that's acknowledging the fact that, you know what, I'm not equipped to use the right words, what should I do before I just speak?
Behold, I waited for your word.
I wait until the timing is right for me to bring something out. This is the best thing to do if you're young, you don't know what you're doing, you're new, you're a novice in relationship building, house building. You know what? Some people say use the 3-second rule or the 4-second rule. What does that mean?
Be swift to hear, slow to speak.
Swift to hear, slow to speak. That means I'm just gonna, I hear you, but I'll make sure I wait to make sure you're done using manners, and then I'll come back with something that's thought out versus just unleashing what I want to say, which could be damaging. He said, I waited for your words. What else?
I gave ear to your reasons.
He said, I listened. You gotta, if you want to build anything, you gotta wait for somebody to bring out what it is that they're trying to say to establish their point, and you gotta listen for their reasons. You just can't hear. Some people just wait till you just pause, and the minute you pause, then they feel like they can interject, or they just cut you off in mid-speech. I'm just going to take over the conversation. I'm just going to cut you off right in mid-speech. But I don't even understand where you're coming from. I don't understand your full point that you're trying to make, because I really didn't care about your point. I wanted to deliver what I had to say, and I felt like what I had to say was more important. So I'm gonna cut you off mid-speech, and then I'm gonna just give you a piece of my mind, but without ever understanding where you're coming from. Yes, sir.
You take too long to explain your point.
Yeah. Why are you're long-winded. You're long-winded, so I'm falling asleep. You could have said this a long time ago. Was that your point? We could have got over this in the morning. You waited all day just to say that? Oh, I'm tired. It's too late. How many times we hear that? You should have brought this out earlier. I'm busy. It's too late. But he's saying that if you want to be appropriate, hear somebody's reasons first. Wait the opportunity to hear what somebody has to tell you. Be a good listener. Be a good listener. Listen to that other person's side. A lot of times we can't hear what other people have to say because we interpret it as an attack. And the minute you interpret what somebody's criticism as an attack, you're going to shut your ears off anyway. And you're not willing to let them finish because you're just attacking me. Or you're afraid to hear what the real truth is about what they are going to say. So to save yourself some grief, you go ahead and cut that conversation off mid-speech because you really don't want to feel bad for what they have to say. So I'm just going to silence that person right now. This conversation's finished. I'm just going to slam the door on you. Hang up the phone on you. I didn't really fully listen to all of your reasons. Because when you hear somebody's real grief about you, it bothers you. It does bother you. And you know what? Because it's criticism. And we know correction is grievous. It don't feel good. So a lot of times we don't want to hear that other side, what that other person got to say. I might not like what they're saying. Because all what they're saying is about, I need to change. Or it could have been a misunderstanding. But he said what?
Behold, I waited for your words. I gave ear to your reasons.
Go ahead.
Whilst ye searched out what to say.
I even waited until you gathered your point and established your point. I didn't rush you. Okay. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? What are you getting at? What's your point? Okay. What's your point? What's your point? What are you trying to say? Okay. We're wasting time. Get to the point. But how many people do that? Now, you think that's going to make a relationship? Doing that you think that's going to work long term? Nah, that's not long term wisdom. Long term wisdom is waiting for somebody to say what they got to say and express whatever they got to express, whether you like it or not. You got to hear it. That's part of being a good listener. You got to hear the good and the bad, or you got to at least put yourself in that person's shoes. You got to at least understand where they're coming from. You got to at least understand their standpoint. What is this person trying to say? What is their real issue? Am I their real issue? Is the circumstance their real issue? Is what happened their real issue? Or is this reminiscent of a past action? Is it their history that's being stoked? What's going on with this person? Yes, sir.
Sometimes I notice that just hear it and letting them get it off their chest solves a lot.
Man, you know what? You know how much weight comes off a person's shoulder when they didn't know how to say it, but you let them say it, and they let it bottle up and it's been pinned up in them, and they just didn't know how to bring it out because they feel like, you know what? If I really give you a piece of my mind, this relationship is destroyed, or this is over, or you're gonna hate me for it, or look at me jacked up, or you know what? I can't. If I really wanted to say this, it's been really bothering me, but it's gonna come out the wrong way, and I'm gonna say it the wrong way. and because I'm gonna say it the wrong way, it's not gonna have a right effect. So people are apprehensive about that. But you know how it is when you hear somebody's reason, you allow yourself to listen to somebody's reasons versus just reaction and emotion. You allow that person to vent. To prove it, read on. Read down.
Job 32 and verse 12. Yea, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Job, or that answered his words.
Read.
Lest you should say, we have found out wisdom.
It said, when you listen to a person, you can get some wisdom. When you're a good listener. Read. Give me verse I want verse jump down to the main point. Run down to verse 18.
Come, Job 32, verse 18. For I am full of matter. The spirit within me constraineth me.
Yeah, he says when somebody's full of matter, meaning they have a lot that they got on their mind. They got a lot on their plate. They got a lot that's bothering them. They got a lot of issues within. Read.
Behold, my belly is as wine, which hath no vent.
When wine doesn't have a vent, what happens to wine bottles when it bursts? It has no vent. Corks are put on bottles because corks breathe.
True.
Corks let the wine breathe. It's porous. So as the fermentation is going on within the bottle, within the wine, as the wine is fermenting, it's releasing gases. Those gases have to breathe. They have to breathe. That's why you put a cork in a wine bottle, because it lets a little bit amount of oxygen out. And it also lets the wine oxidize without turning stale, but slowly. It allows it to ferment slowly. So he says people are the same way. If you don't let a person speak, they're like a bottle of wine that's ready to what?
It is ready to burst.
It is they about to pop any minute. You gotta be a good listener, because people will be ready to explode on you. You gotta learn how to allow somebody to vent without taking their venting personal. You can't take people's vents personal. Just because you're saying what you're saying, let me listen to the reason why you're saying what you're saying, versus for the fact that I don't like what you're saying. I don't like what you're saying right now. All you're saying right now is you don't like me. All you're saying is you want another woman. All you're saying is you want another man. We interpret what people are saying without even establishing the reason. But you got to let them vent. You got to be a good listener. That's what good communication is about. It's not always one-sided. It's not always you getting your rocks off and you making sure your point is heard. What about the other side? Do you really listen well when somebody tells you their points and their reasons? But you wonder why you can't build anything that's long-standing. This is what it takes to build something. You got to be a good listener, especially when you got a partner. It's not always one-sided. Read on. Yes, sir.
Now, I was going to say, people focus on the tone of what people are saying versus listening to the message that's being brought out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or the intensity behind what they're saying.
Yeah.
Why you got to say it loud? Why you got to yell? I'm sitting right here. I'm right next to you. They're focusing on what? All the wrong things.
Yeah.
Let this person express their point. Now we're arguing about tone and temperature versus the reasons and the message. We've diverted the conversation, and now we've got distracted with a smoke bomb because the real problem was the fact that you just needed to speak, and I didn't let you speak. To make something work, it goes both ways. Read.
I will speak.
It's not just about you being a talker, because you're a good talker. Doesn't mean you've mastered effective communication. You got to talk, and you also got to know how to let somebody vent and let somebody speak before you fly off the handle and get emotional. Read on.
I will speak.
He said, I will speak. Go ahead.
That I may be refreshed.
He said, because when you let somebody speak, they get what?
Refresh.
They get refreshed. You allow a person to take a load off their mind when you sit down and not give a crazy face, because sometimes people read body language.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to talk to you because look at the face. Look at your face. Look at the face you're making. You act like you don't care. Did I say I don't care? Well, your face look like you don't care. Points never get across. You're not looking at me in the eye when you talk to me. You're not giving me your attention. So it must not be important, so forget about it. You're always looking at your phone. Why you gotta look at your phone while you talk to me? You gotta let people go have all these different things going on in their head, and they never get down to the core of what the issues are. But you gotta let people vent. You gotta let them come out so that they can be refreshed. Read on.
I will open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person.
He said, let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person. Don't look at me because I'm young. That's what he's saying. Don't look at me like I'm young, and I got to tell you the truth, even if you're my elders. But he's doing it appropriately. Listen to what he's saying. I'm a young man, but I got all this pinned up in me, but I got to say what I got to say. But I waited. I was patient. I waited my turn. I waited my time, and then I let out what I had to say. See, this is somebody that knows timing. He knows when to interject, when to refresh himself, when to vent, when to express his understanding or his discernment. Not all of us know how to do that. Not all of us know the time. Ecclesiastes chapter 32. Hold that. Ecclesiastes chapter 32. Start at verse 7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 32 and verse 7 says, Speak, young man, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked.
Go ahead.
Let thy speech be short.
And if you're young and if you're new at something, you shouldn't be running your mouth. Especially when you're young and you're new at something. If you're new at homemaking, building a household, you should do more listening than what?
Talking.
Than talking. When you're new at something, you can't come across like you're the expert. And that's a major issue amongst our people. You building something brand new for the first time, but you running your mouth like you've been doing this for 1,000 years. And you've mastered this already. When in actuality, you should be coming in a position of a humble person. You know what? I'm new at making friends. What should I do? I'm new at building relationships. What should I do? I'm new at building a household. What should I do?
Let thy speech be short.
It says you need to do more listening than you do talking, especially when you're young. Because you don't know. You should be more open to embrace information and instruction.
Come.
Read.
Come. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words.
Meaning, I should be so open when I'm new at something that I should be getting as much as I can from somebody without me for them having to explain a whole lot. That means my attention is so there. I'm so locked in to the instruction that somebody's giving me when it comes to building something long-standing that they don't have to explain a lot. I can pick up exactly what they're dropping in few words. That means I'm attentive and I'm focused on what they're saying. This is the mindset that we should be in when we're new at something. We shouldn't be running our mouth like we know what the hell we're doing, because we don't. And you're either going to learn the easy way or the hard way. When you're new at something, be humble. Be open for instruction. Stop acting like you've mastered it.
Yeah.
Like you've mastered friendship when you have no friends. You've mastered relationships and you've never built one or a good one. Well, we have to take a different approach to building, to home economics. We got to take a different approach. We got to take a different seat. Not of one that's the authority, like I know what I'm doing, No, but I'm learning as I go, and it's okay to do that. Read on.
Come. It says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, and yet holdeth his tongue.
But even if I do know some things about friendships, relationships, bonds, I'ma still do what?
Holdeth his tongue.
I'ma still hold my tongue. Because I'ma still let the door open for more instruction. There might be something that this person can share with me that I need to hear. Different posture, man. It's a different posture. Read on.
Come. It says, if thou be among great men.
And if I'm around great men, people that are successful and been doing what it is that I'm trying to do, and they've have a lot more understanding at it. They have a lot more success than I've had at it. Read on.
Make not thyself equal with them.
But a lot of people want to be what? I got wisdom too. I got friendships too. But all your friendships are broken. I know how to build bonds too. You got a lot to say, but not the evidence behind it. Your words don't match up.
Yeah.
When somebody's trying to tell you what it takes to build friendships, you got an opinion. You want to interrupt. A lot of times it's the fact that we inhibit and hinder the instruction. Read on.
It says, and when ancient men are in place, use not many words.
And when those that are experienced around me they're giving me instruction, use not what?
Many words.
Stop. That means shut my mouth down. Let me become a listener versus a talker.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been doing it that long, and I'm not that good at it. I got to be honest. Read on.
It says, before the thunder goeth lightning.
He said, before thunder goes what?
Lightning.
So lightning is seen. Light moves faster than sound. He said, before thunder is the lightning. Read on.
And before a shamefaced man shall go favor.
It said, and before a shamefaced man shall go what?
Favor.
So what goes before humility? Shamefaced man, favor. The Most High likes a man that's humble. Just like you see lightning before thunder. One precedes the other.
That's true.
The Most High favors a man that's shamefaced. That acknowledges the fact that, you know what, I don't know everything. Or a woman that I don't know everything. I'm here to learn. I'm here to absorb. I'm here to gather. I'm here to obtain. I'm a recipient of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I'm not the giver. I'm not the teacher. I'm the student. Read on.
Come. It says, rise up betimes and be not the last.
So when it comes to homemaking, there's things that you can do to be effective in your homemaking. Get up early. Lead by example. When it comes to home economics, lead by example. He said, get up what?
Betimes.
Get up early. Be not what?
Be not the last.
If you want to build an appropriate household, don't be the last one to wake up in the morning. Don't be getting up. It's down 12 o'clock. You just getting up. You're not going to be a respectable leader in your household. You want to be respected in the house and build a right house? Then get up what? Get up early. Get up early in the morning. Don't just be waking up at 10, 11 o'clock and you just got slippers on and a robe on. You're not ready for anything. He said, get up, but get thee betimes. Rise up early. Be not the last. Read on.
But get thee home without delay.
But don't be out all day, all night. Meaning you can't ignore your what? Your obligations and your commitments in the house. You have obligations at home.
Yeah.
You got responsibilities at home. You have duties at home. You can't ignore your house like your house is going to fix itself. It's going to maintain itself. It doesn't maintain itself. It needs maintenance. It needs attention. Can't be out all night and I'm neglecting my responsibilities. You can't do that and expect the house to run smooth. Read on.
It says, there, take thy pastime and do what thou wilt, but sin not by proud speech.
It says, do what you got to do and enjoy the process of home building, home management, home building. It says, but do not destroy your house with what?
Sin not by proud speech.
Don't you can't build a house using what?
Proud speech.
Make sure that your speech is filled with humility. It's filled with kindness. It's filled with grace. Make sure you're talking to the people right in the house when you're building the right house. Don't let proud speech destroy what could have been and what should have been. Read on.
It says, and for these things, bless him that made thee, and have replenished thee with his good things.
It said, and the Most High will replenish you with what?
Good things.
The Most High will keep you growing if you follow these instructions. See, there's instructions that work, and there's instructions that don't work. There's a method to obtaining a successful household. And then there's your opinion, which doesn't work. So I think that's the point on this class. I'm going to leave it at that because I think we're driving the point. When it comes to a house, you're not the expert. You haven't learned, especially if you're in America, you haven't learned how to make a house, how to maintain a house, build a house. You don't really know effective communication. You don't know how to speak to the people in the house. You got to be a better listener than you are a talker. And you got to swallow your pride, and you got to use better judgment and use better discretion. We say these things because we watch. The odds are too far against us for failure. Whether you're an Israelite or not, doesn't matter. Israelite households break up too. That doesn't guarantee you success in a marriage because you know you're Israelite. That just makes you more accountable, more responsible. But the truth of it is, our people ain't built nothing. And we're defective in how we build houses. Home management. And it's always a topic of discourse, counsel. Well, what do I do now? How do I get rid of this person? Or how do I make it work? We always get them counsels. When the disaster, after the disaster's already happened. After the fallout, where I choked her. Where I put my hands on her. Or, you know what, I'm ready to leave him and the kids. How many times have we seen that? But there's a lot to learn. But if you don't learn it with the posture of, you know what, I'm young, I'm brand new, let me listen. I'm not the expert. Let me get some counsel on this. Then you can build effective houses. But doing it your way, our way that we've learned in America, man, is full of flaws. We don't go to the Bible to learn how to deal with people, each other, and conversations, and compatibility, and unity. We're in trouble. I think that's enough right there. It's already 10:30. But we'll be back in action on Friday. Dawiyad? Okay.
Yeah.
Dawiyad be back on Friday. We'll be back. Shalom to everybody online. I know we're just getting back to class. It's been a little exodus, but it's good to see people online. Good to see brothers in the class, sisters in class as well. And with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.
All right.